We will be testing. We will be testing the a PC computer for streaming. It's the old computer that I used to have. It's been fixed. It's been taken care of. It should be working nice. It is the first testing. I still got a shitload to set up over here on Streamlabs. But what I have is the 5 minute intro. So you can call your mama, papa, friends, and neighbors, and everybody and tell them that the boom is back. Let's do it.
you ready? Call your mama, call your papa, call your friends. The festivities are about to begin. Boom!
Hey, shut up. You weren't supposed to keep playing. Come on. Stop playing with me. Stop playing, bruh. Come on. Dude, this is gonna be such a tricky one. Uh, stop when not visible. Restart when visible. Always play even when not visible. I don't know, man. What if I just one day go live and just keep that intro just looping like all day long? That's crazy. Hey, anybody have an idea about OBS? I want to put my green screen thing, but I mean OBS was easy. Streamlabs is not easy. Shout out to everybody on the YouTube land. I see you. I see. I see people. I was not abandoned. I abandoned, but I wasn't abandoned. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? RT96, C4, Fred Bailey, Real Cygnus 1. 1. Where did I get number? 1 again. Real Cygnus. That's it. Marcus Dresden. Mark Ding. Anamorphic Mind with a 666 super chat. Hail to the yeah. What's the super chat right there? 66. Just here to show some Satano atheist loving. Kuso PR1. My mom bakes cakes. John Mongoose. Citizen 9. Justin Franks. Fred Bailey. I'm new. Hello. I'm new. Okay. So, if I open my settings on the camera, right? Right? Look. Okay. Let's see. Display capture. There you go. Wait. What did you see? I'm confused. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna switch something in here so you can see what I got and you guys can help me out. You know better. There you go. So I got this right here, right? I got my OBS. If I go in the camera, in my filters, edit filters, right? Now you see me right here. The filters, it is a color key, right? It's not cropping, it's not gain. Color correction, no, it's not. But when we go to on the camera settings, it should be the color key, right? And we'll add that filter. And then we go here to green because it's the green background. But why isn't doing anything? Why isn't it? Something is very strange. This is the normal settings. Oh, no, wait. Oh, okay, I have to do this. No, you see, that's weird. That ain't it. That ain't supposed to be it. No, it's just giving me very dark. I know it's somewhere in here, right? Ah. No, no, no. You see, this is the basic settings right here. Brightness, no contrast. These ones have anything to do? Opacity, opaque. No, I know it's this. Dude, I used to do it on OBS so easy. Fucking A. can I reset? Refresh. Reset it. Refresh it. This is something else. This will change the style of the tone and all this stuff. That ain't it. So I need somebody to help me out here. You see, green. If I do red, well, I got red. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna green screen the red. It ain't disappearing. The red ain't disappearing. We got some red stuff in here. Custom color. Oh, hallelujah. Woo. There you go. Let's see if this works. Drum rolls. The fuck? Is it the light? It's too intense? You think? This sucks. Yeah, this is strange. I hate it. I hate it. We are gonna have no green screen today. Fuck it. You know what? Fuck it. Oh, what the fuck is that? Riggedy raggedy bullshit. What is that? What is that? What is that? That crackling bullshit in there? No, I don't like it. Hold on, I'm on it. Color key bullshit. Nah, come on! Give me a break. I want to delete this. That ain't working out. You know what? I'll do this on my own time. Thank you very much. I know it's gonna work. It's gonna work just fine. Alright, I'm gonna jump into the YouTube Live thingy. We're gonna go to the YouTube Live and have some guesses because I'm gonna jump out to my laptop and then we'll take it from there. So it's gonna be super clean today because this is it. This is all we're gonna have here today. Do I got a camera here? Maybe no. Yeah, maybe no. Because I was using it on the OBS. It's okay. I need to set up my laptop outside and kick it off. Oh, all the rehearsals went over perfectly because I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything whatsoever in related to streaming and computers and technical anything. If I did anything in the computer, I sat down on my laptop, I saw a few shows, I saw a few movies. I didn't do anything, and I just got this computer, this PC, I just got it yesterday, last night, and I just set it up. I just turned it on for the first time ever, like 2 hours ago. It had nothing, 100% clean, 100% brand new. So in 2 hours, I'm able to log in on my YouTube to install Streamlabs and do everything else. So I think I'm doing okay. Oh man, that's crazy. But that's good. Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Okay, we are in Discord Live. I'm gonna do anything else, anything extra. I'm gonna do this offline on my own time later. Full screen, there you go. I'm gonna do this offline and on my own time. Anything related to technical. If anybody wanna join, share screen, I'm happy to do it. In the meanwhile, I'm gonna have to leave for like 5 minutes. I can share a video clip over here. Let me find something to share for about 5 minutes while I set up my laptop and everything is ready to rock and roll. So, and then if somebody decides to join while my second account is not there, the flip-flop is gonna be there. It's gonna be mute, quiet. But my second account, if it's not there, I'm not listening. I will be still setting up my laptop. That being said, I'm gonna leave you all with a classic one of the good old classics. This one is by. I'm on it. I'm trying to choose wisely which one we're gonna play. That's interesting. We have. Okay, I got one. I got one right here. This one that I'm gonna share with you right here is Gary Webenga Science. I'm gonna loop it just in case I don't get back right on time. Gary Webenga, rubber bands, and cows. Here we go.
Between the two floors. You notice he's got this wide angle here. Well, that also gives him a wide angle down here to the ground. This wide area, this angle, these are the lines. Now we're going to show you how the angles, vertex, 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 and it's very narrow. The information will be in that area. You notice this angle now gets wider. It's much wider, wider here. This one is narrow, or this one is narrow right here. This one is wider, and the last one is even wider. The bottom actually, or the top actually, at the distance, became wider. Now you do have, and yet you still see more with distance, because this is why all become nan. There's no getting around any of this. This can probably also be applied to things like, right, your angles. So anyhow, do with whatever you want with this. Nobody thought it was possible, but it is. That's what I'm going to call it. From that pole to that pole, those are the first two stories. 1, 2. Close up, wide angle. Look though. Now all these poles are equally spaced. The side here. But in a second I'm going to move just a little bit further away to that end. But look what happened here. Frame. And yet, on these two sections, now I have, and everything's foreshortened again because I'm close.
I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon.
Thanks for watching. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. That was Gary Webenga does science, bruh. Science and other goodies. Okay, I was able to log in my account. Everything looking good. Everything looking excellent. Let me go ahead and jump to my other account and get the party on the road. Hopefully we'll get some participation going on right here, right up in here. Let's do it. I'll be back in 10 seconds. 9. I'm here. I'm here. Just 10 seconds right there. Yeah. Yeah. I know. All right, we should have the squeaky earth frog view right now, and that is what I'm looking for. Hey, oh, there we go. All right, we have had some visitors over here. We got some visitors in this neighborhood. Why? Because Squeaky Glove look like really busy. Squeaky Glove look like there's a lot of people here. Starting with this. What is this? Is this even a frog? What is this right here? This is a creature that was brought to me by somebody, and they say, "Oh, you like frogs? Here." This ain't a frog. I don't even know if this is a frog. So heavyweight frog. Throw it in there. I just taste. If I just throw it there, he kind of see. This is an interesting one because he just hangs in there wherever I put him on. See, there you go. He hangs on in there for dear life. Now, been saying we have a new member in the family of the frogs over here. So we got Mobbit, baby frog. We got Mobbit, mama frog. We got Mobbit, lazy eye frog. Well, look at it, this over here. What is this? The fuck is that? Who the fuck is that? Where does that big ass frog come from? It's like from the same family. Now it's so crowded I can't even see the lazy eyes of this frog. I told you that the earth is populated by frogs, and I mean it when I say that. Now, if we get to put this guy up there somewhere, see, but we need some intellect in between all of this, and the intellect is not from me. I ain't no intellectual. I ain't nobody. But we have an intellectual frog over here. Well, hello. My name is Frog. Frog is French, but I just like rolling my R's. I don't know what's going on here, but this is this is a legit, very smart frog. I'm not like the rest. I'm just Frog. Thank you, Mr. Frog. Thank you. Merci. I will sit now in the small earth over here. Okay, you sit down in the small earth. Sit down in small earth. Now, the question is, are we able to squeak earth with all these frogs? I don't think we can do it now because I'm gonna make a mess, but we will do later. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Big shout out to everybody that just joined in the past few minutes, and big thank you for sharing the show on the Discord interwebs. If you are a member of a different Discord server besides the Daily Boom, please grab a link of this live stream and throw it over there and telling, hey, Jose is back. Let's go over there and troll him responsibly. Of course, responsibly. I'll encourage everybody to hit the like under this live stream right now. Watching this live or recorded is never too late. So if you forgot to click the like, make sure to come back and the thumbs up is on. If you can support, and I hope that you can, like an Amorphic Mind did with $6.66, you can support me via PayPal or Super Chat. I would really appreciate it. I was out for a few days, maybe a whole solid week. I wanted every single day. I grab my computer and I say, I'm going to go live today, but I'm not feeling like. Next day, I'm going to go live. The third day, I say, I'm not going to go live. The fourth day, I'm not going to go live. I needed a break. I need a break from the topic. I need a break from all this bullshit. It was slightly affecting me mentally. So I'm 100% good. I'm ready for the bullshit. I am ready for the bullshit. And the first bullshitter that we have here besides myself is Chike. He is in the house. What's up, Chike?
Hello, Jose. Welcome back. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. What do you think? Is this even a frog? It's a weird one, huh?
Eh, Which one?
This one, little blue one.
I thought it's a turtle.
You
Without,
think it's a turtle, tortuga? Oh.
without the shell, without the house.
Is it because turtles all the way down? That might be it, because he is a turtle. Is it turtles all the way down, or is there elephants underneath the turtle? All right, we have, dude, look at that, 25 people in the house. Thank you, guys, for being here. Appreciate it. And we have 19 likes. That's a really good ratio. Really good. Thank you very much, y'all. Thank you, y'all. Your mother and I were worried sick about you, young man. Oh, Mr. Malord, thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody. There was a bunch of people that checked up on me, almost in the daily basis. So thank you, guys. You know who you are, and I want to say a big, 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 big thank you to Ortiz Life. He came through out of nowhere. He sent me a little something on PayPal, and I really, really appreciate that. I needed that. I don't tell you guys, but I mean that hurt me. Not being here this past week hurt me economically, because I could make maybe, I don't know, $100. That wouldn't be good to pay maybe like internet or something, or half of electric bill. But I am gonna be behind. I'm gonna struggle. It's gonna be tough, but I will make it. I rather do it and struggle to pay the bills a little bit. I choose that over being mentally and on the edge, and in a bad humor, a bad mood, annoyed within my own life and my circle, social circle around me over here, because this shit, it was getting me, it was pissing me off, and I was talking to everybody close to me in real life. uh, I was getting annoying. I caught me being annoying. Everything was being a contrarian and a flip flopper, and I wanted to debate everything. And I needed to take a break, and that's it. I caught it soon. I shouldn't done it, but dude, it does. Whether you like it or not, this bullshit can affect you, bro. Can fuck you up. You don't take this seriously, Shag, right? And that's a good thing.
Yeah, I learned to take it lightly, not too serious.
Yeah, I did too, man. And it's been so many years. I mean, so many years going through this. It just, yeah. I don't know. I caught me, and it wasn't. I wasn't really aggressive, but I saw myself with my close ones. I mean, I was being an ass, and I said, like, why am I like? I'm not like this. It's the damn fucking internet. Fucking me up, me acting like, whoa, acting like an asshole. Well, well, well. Dora Unku send me a €2 super chat. Dora, thank you for the $2. Who are you? Are you new? Well, hello, I am new indeed. The name is Gonzalez. Jose Gonzalez. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And I only troll possible. When I say always, can I take that back, or can I add to, if I always do something, can I then say sometimes I do? Is that valid, Shaik?
Say again?
If I always do something, can I also sometimes do that something?
Mm, I don't understand what you're asking.
If I always do something, I say I always do that one thing. And sometimes I do that thing also. The same thing that I say I always do. After I say I always do it, I say then that sometimes I do. Is that a valid statement?
Yes, it could be.
Because if it's okay if I do it sometimes, but when I say I always do, I think that always encompasses the sometimes. So I don't have to double down on this. Sometimes I do that. Do you already know that I always do it?
Right.
Why am I correcting myself? Damn it! I should argue the other way. That it's necessary to say that you sometimes do the thing that you say you always do. Damn it! I'm confusing myself. I don't see why you get to put your mental health above our entertainment, Jose, says Citizen 9. Indeed, man, yeah, I didn't. There was no need whatsoever. No need whatsoever, man. I've been happy. Yesterday was was it yesterday? Was it yesterday, Tuesday? Yesterday was a long day for me, man. I woke up early and I went to the a food bank thing to do the volunteering job. And it was the first it was the first pickup they had to do. So they go to a few supermarkets and places. They donate the stuff. They used to back in the day throw it away, trash compactor and get rid of all the stuff because something was a little busted or open or about to get expired, right? But now they just pack it and donate it. So these people that they do the food bank, they go and collect that in the morning. Dude, there was so much. We had 3 pickup trucks and they were packed full of boxes of bunch of vegetables and fruits, breads and desserts, bunch of meats like hams and chickens, bunch of beef, pork, bro. It was a lot, thousands of dollars in food and grocery. And it was heavy work, man, carrying all the boxes over there to the place, setting it up, all the tables, setting some tents, setting up all the food and putting the shit in the freezer. They got a big building with a lot of coolers and freezers. They got a big kitchen, the kitchen to kind of split the big chunks of ham and stuff. It was good. It was good. It was fun, man. I have fun. I did a little bit of everything yesterday. And I participated. I brought me a bunch of food for me, meat and goodies like that. You know, it was good. Really appreciate it. That's the perks to help in there. You kind of get the first dips on the good meat and stuff. Uh, Dora Unku. Well, there's a new frog in here. There's a new participant. Big head. We got Mobbit. The same 3 frogs. But then this one just show up in there one day. I woke up and the quickie earth is full now. The hell? The hell? And then this, I don't know. Somebody told me it was a frog, but it looks more like a weird tortuga without a shell. Like because tortugas all the way down. That's why it might be a turtle. I'm gonna hang it the neck. Right? It might be because that doesn't have any weight. It might be because of turtles all the way down. And then look at this. Well, hello. My name is Frog. Frederico Frog is his name. This is the intellectual one of the tech. So shout out to Frederico Frog. I will forget your name tomorrow. You better remind me. He is French and he like to roll the R's. Arrrr. I know, Frederico. I know. I'm so weird. Uh, don't worry about it, guys. I'm mentally stable. I am mentally stable. Okay, let's see. We got a PP. Dude, we got a PayPal man over here for by Citizen 9. Citizen 9, thank you very much for your support, brother. $10. Welcome back, Jose. Good to see you. Hope this helps a little. Yes, it does, my friend. It does help a lot. Thank you very much. We got Sean Smith with a super chat. Look at that. Look at that. Support coming in. Thank you, guys. Sean Smith with a $5. I've been fighting dumb. I've been fighting dumb all around. Thanks to the sad times. I have to say, it's been terrible. It's been terrible. Glad Jose J.G. Gonzalez have some entertainment going. Boom. Shout out. Fred Bailey. How is your name Frederico? You're not Frederico. Bullshit, Frederico. Is that even a name, Frederico? I don't know, man. It sounds strange. Chike, what's the word, man, around in the neighborhood? I'm gonna share a link before in the YouTube. Please, somebody else that would like to join, feel free to come in over and jump in Discord. Chike, have you been around talking to weirdos on the internet? And what's the word? What's been new around, man?
Yes, I was talking to one today. Very weird. Yeah, flat earthers with no claims.
So when they say that the Earth is flat, that's not a claim?
I think it is.
What I mean, it is a claim. They're saying something that is not, and I think the burden is for them. The burden of proof to prove that something known is wrong. Is that valid? Is that true?
Yeah, his idea was that if he doesn't make a claim, it's not up to him to prove it. Like if we show him two celestial poles, it's not his claim. He don't need to explain it. Why? Because it's not his claim. But the pole's still there.
So he was presented with two celestial poles as for evidence for the globe, I guess.
Yes, he was told we can model it easily. It's not a problem. How do you explain it on flat earth? Says I don't need to. Well, he's right. Don't need
What's
to. We
about
can't force him to. But the question: can he explain this phenomenon on flat Earth? How does it work?
Yeah, I guess he could say being dishonest. Somebody dishonest could say, I mean, eh, where are these polls? What are the polls? Show me the polls. Let me see it. And if you get to present pictures or videos or clips, he said like, yeah, that's what we see every day. Welcome to flat Earth. Something ridiculous like that, like makes no sense. They'll try to loop it around, saying that's what we see in reality. That's it. That's what happens.
Right. That's exactly what he says. He says,
Really?
yes, he said, that's what we see. Of course, that's what we see. But why? Why do we see this? How this possible, flat Earth?
I don't know who this guy is, but I can play that part so easy. Let's see how you can escape that.
He said,
How can we see that, Shaik? Well, easy. He who has eyes can see it. We live in the reality and we see it. Therefore, it's there and it works because we see it.
yes, first you need a pressure container, and then the gradient builds up. Why does the gradient build up? That's the way things are.
I don't know why you're bringing containers for it. That's not mentioned. We're talking about some polls, an observation. I guess of the stars, right?
But it's the same idea. What's your explanation to the pressure gradient? That's how things are. That's what we see. Builds up.
We're going to switch around a few different topics.
It's not a topic. It's just the same idea that you don't need to explain why you see
Right,
things. They are just the way the world is.
right. But the polls. Let's go to the polls, right? Explain to me. Explain to me like I'm 5, or better yet, explain to me like if I was a flat earther. Let me try to understand. There's an argument to be made that the two poles prove the globe. Disclaimer: this is not Jose JG speaking right now. This is the guy in the Frogland, in the La La Land. Explain to me how two poles prove the globe.
Well, we see two centers of rotations, right? Both in, you can say, opposite direction. One is clockwise, one is anti-clockwise when we look at them.
How do we know that we see these two? Is it because people link to each other and talk? What do you see in the sky a certain time at night? How do we
Yeah,
know that we are
we
two poles?
can. For example, it's night here. It's night in Australia. I'll go out to take some pictures of. Well, I won't see anything here in the city, but take pictures and see that the stars here rotate counterclockwise, and in Australia it will be clockwise. So we know this happens.
Okay. So over here in Florida, I think Polaris is somewhere, I don't know, around there behind those trees. So if I drive up to whatever, Ohio, I'm in Ohio up high, and Polaris is gonna be up in the sky somewhere. I'm gonna point at it. You're telling me that if I keep going south, and I go to Brazil, Argentina, and keep going down to Chile and all that, I'm gonna look up and Polaris is not gonna be there. It's gonna be another point that is gonna be a rotation there.
No, you will not find Polaris there, but you will still have center of rotation, which all the star circle around.
But is there those two only? Is there any more? Any more have coming forward and say like, oh no, there's a pole in there that I see all the time.
It seems
Or
to be only two that we see in different. Depends where you are. You'll see them in different orientation, different times, but they seem to be all the same. One of the two centers of rotation.
so why will this be damaging if as for evidence for the globe? That's what we see in real life. I mean, and if you don't want to think, you cannot grasp that the Earth cannot be a globe. You cannot just fathom it. You just think that the Earth is a plane. And why is these 2 points of rotation in the sky damaging?
You want me to tell you why?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
First off, what's going on, guys?
Good to see you, man.
Yep. Well, I made a video, man, just to give me a chance to explain it. With the star trails, okay. So I got to thinking. I've been using I've been bringing up the point that the stars are literally measurably diverging away from each other slightly at the equator. I've been bringing that up for who knows how long on this channel, right? And so I was just trying to think of a way to prove it. And I was looking at SunCalc and all this thing, and I was looking at star trails, and then I was looking at star trails with the moon captured in it. And the moon follows the stars wherever it's at in the ecliptic. So if the moon that night happens to be over the equator, then it goes straight in a straight line, following the stars that are going straight. If the moon happens to be over Cancer, then it curves off to the right. The same way that the stars over Cancer curve off to the right, you'd say over the around the northern hemisphere, and then same thing over Cancer. If the moon's over Cancer, it turns the other way and follows the stars, you'd say, circling around the South Pole, right? Well, the sun would do the same thing. If it's the Earth rotating or whatever, then wherever the sun's at in the ecliptic, if it's us that's rotating, the sun's going to behave the same way. So what can we do? So I go to SunCalc, and I do a time lapse. If you go to SunCalc, you can fast forward the sun, and it does it basically does a smiley face above the equator when it's all the way north toward Capricorn, and it does a frown, and it's not a big one, but it's still there. It's measurable. So you could use shadows to measure this divergence. You can measure the angle of the shadows, and SunCalc has a sun that does the smiley face, and underneath it's a line, and it looks like a stick. It represents the stick for the shadow, so it tells you the angle of your shadow that you'll get, and it curves like a smiley face, like I said. And so basically, if you can take the leap and imagine we could get shadows from the stars, they're happening simultaneously. There's always stars over the equator, over Capricorn and over Cancer, and everywhere in between. So if we could measure their shadows, we'd get the same thing. We'd get the smiley face type of shadow and the frown type of shadow, meaning, and that's measurable divergence. I don't see a way around this.
You lost me for a second. Shadows. Stars casting some kind of. I got lost when I heard shadows. I imagined something else, and my mind went up, and I got lost, bro.
I understand, and a lot of people shut down. A lot of Globers shut down right there. But let me try and explain it like this. Okay, so we can't measure shadows with the stars. Okay, because they don't give off enough light. But we can trace the behavior of the sun through the moon, sun or the moon. It follows the star trails. Wherever it's at in the ecliptic is how it behaves. So basically, the shadow the sun leaves, one at a time, just one shadow at a time. The stars, if they had enough light, they'd be constantly leaving them shadows. So in other words, it's like having a bunch of suns. It's like having suns all the way from Cancer stretched out to Capricorn and everything in between over the equator. In other words, the stars are always there simultaneously. The sun is only in one place at one time, which is why we never noticed. We never noticed this because, sure, we see the smiley face in the north, and we see a shadow change from the equator. SunCalc documents it. But we never really thought, or I never, and I'm assuming nobody else ever had thought to figure the stars that are always there, all over Cancer, over Capricorn, and over the equator. So if they could leave a shadow, they'd leave the same shadow that the sun leaves in that location. You see what I'm saying, kind of?
Struggling to understand you for real, I promise. I know my brain is not 100% in it. I'm trying to figure it out. I just cannot. Maybe Shai will. Maybe Shai.
I'll post a video and just play it without sound. For about a minute and a half, and it'll show you you'll see SunCalc, but you can at least imagine when you watch this video. Just it shows the moon following the star trails in a few different clips, and so just imagine that wherever the sun or the moon is at in the ecliptic, in between Cancer and Capricorn, right? Its greatest reaches, the farthest that the sun and moon travel. It travels up to Cancer, doesn't go no higher, and down to Capricorn, doesn't go no lower. So just imagine, that. Well, just watch it, and I'll go from there. I'll post.
Yeah, man. Yeah, if you want to post it in the Daily Boom, let me read this super chat by RT96, $5. RT, thank you, brother. And this is a quote. I know the sun was over my head because I could see it. That was Gary. Another quote. The sun is always over my head, whether I see it or not. Also, Gary. Thank you very much. Beautiful quotes by Gary Huevenga, brought to you by RT96. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Let me go to the Daily Boom and see if we can screen share. Just throw this quote in here. Okay, if I pop this open and oop, okay, is it a clip? Okay, is it 5
You
minutes?
can play it. You can play it with volume. You can play it. You don't have to watch the whole 5 minutes, but you can play it with volume if you want, and just watch like
Yeah, yeah,
half of it.
yeah. This is okay. Let me uh screen share. You tell me if you can see this, and if you do, let me know. I'll go share it on the main PC. I got my PC fixed, bro. I'm so happy. I mean, I gotta kind of stand up and go over there and click for switching screens, but I don't care. I'm gonna try to focus more and sit more inside, but for now, having a smoke outside. All right, let me share that for the audience. Give me 10 seconds.
Is that what you intended to do last time we were here? You said you were going to do something, Brian?
Yeah. That's yeah. I'll bring that up in a minute.
Okay, you should be able to see it and you should be able to hear it. So let's be patient. We got Brian Leake, Shaik, and myself over here. This video clip is shared by Brian Leake. It's about 5 minutes and a half. Let's play this in the background. If you need me to pause it and comment on something, let me know and we'll do that. Here we go. Boom.
Going straight, we see the stars off to the right in the distance, deviating to the
Hello,
left.
everybody.
Would you agree with that? And the stars to the right, like.
Hello, Leo. Just 5 seconds ago, I just clicked play on a video. So if you would like to click on my screenshot and watch the video that we're watching, we will take it from there. That's cool. All right, I'm gonna hit play. I'm gonna go back 15 seconds.
From the equator, we see the stars directly overhead going straight. We see the stars off to the right in the distance, deviating to the left. Would you agree with that? And the stars to the right, like deviating toward what you would call the northern hemisphere. Would you agree with that?
I'm glad you've actually mentioned stars, Brian, because we were supposed to be talking about stars, eclipses, and gas pressure. But yes, if you're stood on the equator, the stars passing directly overhead will be going straight overhead. If you look to the left, they'll be rotating one way. To the right, they'll be rotating the other way. You agree? You'll see the stars are not moving apart. It's not like gears in those time-lapse photographs. As you mentioned, often using wide-angle lens, so you can see a wide part of the sky. So there is
they're not deviating off to the right and the left. Okay, because just a minute ago I thought you said that they were. So in this video is the various different claims that globers make about what happens at the equator, okay, and why we see the deviation, or if we even see it at all. A portion of them say we don't see it and wouldn't expect to see it. A portion of them say that we do see it because of wide-angle lenses, and then I have them arguing with each other. My argument is that we obviously see deviation in the time-lapse videos of the star trails at the equator, and upon first glance, it's good proof of a globe, but the devil's in the details, as usual. It's actually a globe killer, because if we can measure the separation and them moving away from each other, then that means they're going in different directions, literally, measurably. So in the background, I've had different videos playing with equatorial star trails and the moon in various locations. And it shows that according to its position in the ecliptic, it follows the stars according to where it's at. They would not even argue that. So it would follow necessarily that any heavenly body in the ecliptic would behave in the same manner, including the sun. So I'm going to use SunCalc to prove the measurable separation using sticks and shadows. I will do this by substituting the stars with the sun, arcing over Cancer and antarcing over Capricorn.
So we definitely see the stars appear to converge and diverge at the equator, right? The star trails. That's not a question in anyone's mind anymore.
Do we?
No, I think they stay the same angular distance from one another the whole time.
So you're saying I'm talking about what we see. We see them appear to converge and diverge at the equator.
I don't know about
Star
that.
trails.
Do we have evidence of them doing that?
Right at the equator, and I posted another star that's not at the equator, and it does appear that then later on in the night or whatever, at some other point, it does appear that they change distances. But this is only due to perspective, as you said earlier, Zanik.
Because of the wide angle lens. Yeah.
No, not because of wide angle lens. Even if you took a snapshot of a single portion of the sky, it would only be closest at one point, and they would only be diverging from your position.
It's a wide angle lens, and you can see that in the north, like this is just it's a wide angle lens. You can see both the north and the south in this GIF.
It's a panoramic.
Right? Yeah, and you can see that when you're looking north, the stars are rotating one way. When you're looking south, they're rotating another way. What's the problem?
He's talking about the divergence.
This is the key question now, Zanik. Are you ready, sir?
All set.
We're at the equator now, right? And we look up and we see what you say, a straight line and a circle on one side and a circle on the other side, one going clockwise, one counterclockwise, correct?
Well, I know you see that with wide angle lenses.
So here's Google showing and stating the stars curve away toward the horizon on either side of the equator. And remember earlier how I demonstrated the moon and the sun follow the star trails in the ecliptic. Well, I'm going to go to SunCalc. That stick at the bottom of the sun, that's a time lapse of the sun, and that stick represents the shadow angles. So this is how we measure. So the stars over Capricorn, you see making a frown, there's over the equator, straight. Okay, then I just move barely above the equator, and you'll see the smiley face. So arcing in the Arctic, Antarctic in the Antarctic, smiling and frowning. So that's measurable separation. We can use sticks and shadows to demonstrate measurable separation. Now, this is not predicted by the globe model. This is another example of how they try to use something for globe proof, and under further scrutiny, it questions their model altogether. Okay, you can't have perspective with stars gajillions of miles away. That goes against their model, their celestial navigation. It's just another example of how their proof kills their model. So the next time they try to use sticks and shadows to prove a globe, show them this video and point out that the stars are physically separating from each other.
All right. Shout out to Brian for keeping the channel alive and the discussion alive. Question, comments, concerns.
Recognize some of them voices. Recognize some of them voices.
Yeah.
I have a question for Brian. Brian, the flat map that you are using in that video, what's it a projection of?
The globe Earth.
Then you can't use that to define what the flat Earth would be like. You need to do that on a flat map that is not a projection of the globe. You're saying this says the globe is not true, but it uses the globe projection.
That's to measure shadows, Lil. That's SunCalc.
No, I understand, but it's based off a globe projection. You need to come up with a model that works on a flat Earth that does not use a globe projection.
What if I can't? Well, I've already done that and showing you what we see. I've already demonstrated why we see the celestials at different angles due to on a flat plane that we're mistaking the globe. We're mistaking a flat plane for a globe due to that refraction.
Perfect, but every map you have that's a projection is a projection of the globe. You need to come up with a map that is not the projection of the globe that agrees with your point of view.
So nothing I just presented stands with you because I don't have a model? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, exactly. You need a model. You need a map that is not a projection of the globe to define for us what it would be like on a flat Earth. Because all the models you use are a projection of the globe. Therefore, it works on the globe because you're using a projection of the globe.
All right. Well, you think it's a globe because of the refraction, okay? But all the measurements are. No, I'm telling you that this is my explanation. My explanation is people think Google Earth is a globe because of the light refraction, but it's not really the ground bending. We get the same angles, we see the same celestial sphere that we see in reality, but instead of the ground bending, it's the light bending, the celestial light bending.
No.
So map out the thing.
Google Maps is based off GS83, which is based off the globe model. Or GS84, whatever. It is based off the globe model, and therefore you cannot use Google Maps or any other map that's a projection from the globe. You have to come up with a map that's not a projection from the globe to defend.
I thought Google Earth was empirical. I thought Google Earth was empirical, but hold on. So this is your way of refuting the fact that stars deviate from each other? How could that work on a globe?
Because we're on a globe and they do.
Because we're on a globe and they do. Okay, they separate from each other. We can show it using
Brian,
using a little logic and
you're running and dodging the question.
No, I'm not. Google Earth uses empirical pictures, right?
It uses empirical data from GS84, and GS84 is a globe model.
I thought Google Earth was pictures of the actual Earth.
No, Google Earth that you see on you go to Google Earth website. That is based off the GS84 model, which is a globe model projected onto a flat screen.
So why would they have to base it on a model if it's actual pictures of Earth? Why would they have to base it on any model if they're just stitching together pictures? I'll tell you why. Because the Earth's not a globe.
The Earth is a sphere. The reason they have a model is because they can mathematically show the Earth being a globe.
Can I jump in? I just got a comment to read from Boom Boom Boom. Truth Nerds, hey, hit me up with a $10 in PayPal. Thank you very much, Truth Nerds. I appreciate that, brother. Always appreciate the support, guys. And I got that on screen right here for the audience. It says, and I quote, Truth Nerd says, my abridged response to Brian from Blue's Discord server, which he did not reply to. Shocking, I know, right? Kosho is right. You are wrong. The perspective projection is not angle perceiving in the sense that the distance of 2 points on the projection plane, the pixel distance, was proportional to the angle enclosed by the original points and the focal point. The bigger the field of view, the larger this effect is. Unquote.
Yeah, well, Kosho didn't disagree with me as far as he mentioned. I don't know if I played the whole clip, but he mentions just taking pictures, and instead of doing the time lapse, just taking pictures at 3 different points in time, and it's showing them separating. He says it's because effective. I claim that he was going against all the other globers because he knows that it's not a fisheye lens causing it.
Sorry, I got a little feedback for just a split second there. yeah, man.
Okay, I was wondering, man. I wanted to say that he acknowledges that what we see. Everybody doesn't acknowledge what we can see and measure, but some people do. He acknowledged that that you could take, instead of doing a time lapse, you could take pictures of the stars at 3 given points in time, and it'll physically show that. I mean, you could measure the separation. He says it's not actual separation; it's perspective. But that goes, in my opinion, that goes against the globe model perspective with stars. But most people just cop out and say it's fisheye lenses. But we've shown multiple rectilinear lenses with star trails. In fact, that picture I was shown was a Sony. I forgot the name of it, but it was to my knowledge, one of the best rectilinear lenses, and they all showed the deviation.
Great. When are you going to publish this paper? Put out for peer review.
Shout out to NASA Shield. Shout out to Leo, NASA Shield, Shaik, and Brian Leake, and myself, Jose JG, aka Flip Flop, in the house. I'm happy to be back. 40 plus people watching. Please boom that like and support however you can. You guys can support by joining the Discord server. You can give me some money on PayPal or Super Chat, and you can share the show and a lot of stuff. Click buttons, all kinds of buttons and likes. Boom.
Hey, Paid. He's still running from the fact that every projection out there is a projection from the spherical Earth. He cannot provide any evidence of a flat Earth map that is not a projection of the globe.
Paid, what camp do you sit in, man? Out of the 3 camps, well, 4 really, but not counting my camp. What camp do you sit in on the measurable or the visible separation, however you want to claim it?
It doesn't bother me. I have no opinion on this one.
No, I'm not asking you if it bothers you. I'm asking you what's your explanation.
He already told you he doesn't care.
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't know. I haven't really looked into it.
Well,
as far as
Leo,
I'm sure that
what's
you're
your
doing.
explanation, Leo?
I just want to know when you're putting out for a peer review. That would be the thing to do. Is be to publish it and put out for peer review. And
You help me write it, man, and I'll share credit with you.
no, I'm not gonna write it. I'm not gonna put my name to your piece of shit.
So, Brian, according to
And there
you,
you go.
according to you, if I took a picture of a group of stars, let's say the middle of the night, right above me or above the ecliptic or whatever you want, I took the picture of that field of view of stars and took another picture toward the morning.
Yeah,
There
it'll
is
show
no way.
separation.
There is no way I can superimpose them over the other.
Well, I'll have to defer to Kosho. You know, he stated in that video.
I don't care what Kosho says. I don't know.
Well,
all I
it's
know is that equatorial mount track along one axis of rotation, and you have 2 ways you can move between stars in right ascensions, which we are not concerned with, and with declination. Suppose we have stars one above the other,
right?
and if one is 2 arc seconds above the other, it will be 2 arc seconds from the minute you see them to the minute you stop seeing them.
So it's a different right ascension at the equator, though, right? It's
no, the right
separates into
ascension
4
is
quadrants, right?
the right ascension is horizontal. We talk about the declination. which
Yeah.
is like
So we don't measure. We don't do our celestial navigation based on 4 quadrants.
Forget celestial navigation.
What does
Now
celestial
I'm telling
navigation
you
have to do with this?
that if you have
Well, I'm just
stars with
we just
certain
talked about right
separation,
ascension. I want to pin him down, hold him to his claim.
if you have 2 stars with certain separation, it remain the same during the night. You will not see a pixel movement if you're tracking right, or if you track a group of stars, you can superimpose them one group over the other, and you will not see lines. There will be no line anywhere.
Shaiki, what happens if we're at the equator looking east to get 3 stars to triangulate, and one of our stars is well south of the equator, and the other 2 are north? Would it not work then? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying the separation will remain the same during the night. It's not going to
Right
change.
ascension. Let me tell you. Let me school you. Let me teach you. You might already know this. You might already know this, but let me.
Talk about
You might not.
declination.
Okay?
That the separation you're talking about is declination, not right ascension.
Shaq, Brian is going to
Let me-
teach you a trick or two.
It's
Brian's
also-
going to teach you a trick or two there.
Yeah, you might know this, you might not. Okay, the right ascension. Okay, all the azimuths are measured around Polaris, even in the south. Okay,
No.
even in the south, they don't measure it around. They don't measure it around Sigma Octantis. It's a circle around Polaris. That's how the celestial navigation works. The right ascension is a 360-degree circle that resets at 180 degrees. And same thing with the celestial equator. Is it resets at the equator? It breaks it down into 4 quadrants.
I don't know what you're messing up, but right ascension is not what you think it is. Right ascension stays the same. It's a measurement of stars that astronomers use. You must be missing.
Right, and it goes in circles, right? It goes in circles, and we break it down into
Doesn't
4
change.
quadrants, right?
It doesn't change though. The right ascension will never change.
I did not say it changed.
Yes,
Okay,
you
no, I didn't. I said it's broken down into 4 quadrants, right? Circling Polaris.
Actually, it's circling Polaris.
Yeah, starting at the prime meridian, 0.
No, the
Okay,
right
circling-
ascension. Right ascension
circling
starts
the
at
center,
first-
which is Polaris.
Actually, the right ascension starts at the eastward point of Aries, the vernal equinox. You're confusing something.
You're talking about, okay, yeah, if you want to use the celestial equator, I'm talking about the azimuth and the circle. Talking about okay, hold on. Chikey, what camp are you in? I'm just trying to get everybody's opinion. What camp are you in on why we see the measurable star separation?
I don't think you
Before we leave this
There is
point.
no measurable star separation. That's what I'm telling you.
So Kosho's lying? Or wrong? I don't want to say lying.
There
Kosho's
is
wrong
no
then?
separation.
Where does the separation
you're
occur?
strawmanning him.
Where does the
One more
separation
question.
occur? Does it occur
Hold on,
close
Paige,
to
hold
the
on, hold on.
horizon?
Is SunCalc wrong?
So you're
Sankar,
talking.
you didn't show no separation in Sankar.
No, when the sun, we can't measure a shadow arcing around us if we're at the equator.
Okay.
And SunCalc, and in reality,
We're talking about what angle we will see an object from a certain point, not when we move across the Earth. Doesn't
No,
matter us. We say when we
Oh.
are at a point on Earth and we see 2 stars move, do they converge or diverge from each other? That's what we say.
Okay, guys, hold on 1 second. Let's let Brian maybe answer that question and make his point. And nerd alert, because he knows, the comment he typed earlier, I butchered it. So let's give it a chance after Brian. Brian, go ahead, man.
yeah, I just wanted to ask 2 quick questions. One, to find out what camp you're in, because Kosher said the pictures. I've already said that, and he says that even the pictures will show separation. SunCalc shows the separation. It's measurable with sticks and shadows with the sun. I wanted to see, are you disagreeing with SunCalc in that we can measure the sun deviating toward the north from the equator over Cancer and toward the south over Capricorn? Is that? I want you to specifically address that. Is SunCalc wrong? We can't use a stick and a shadow to measure that separation. I mean that deviation.
I don't know if anybody from the previous ones, Shaik or NASA Shield, want to answer that question, but we got to keep going around. We'll give Nerd Alert a chance.
Yeah, I wanted to reply to Brian's earlier claim, for which I sent the PayPal. So he said that's dependent on the lens, and that was exactly my point, which, however, I did not include in this message, unfortunately, that this happens with a rectilinear lens too. This is a fundamental property of the perspective projection, that the further the distance from the center of frame, the pixel distances increase even for the same angle. So this divergence does not prove that the angle increases. It just means that the way you look at it, the pixels move further away.
So you'd be in the wide angle lens camp then, right?
Yes, but it has nothing to do with the fisheye or something. Actually, a fisheye lens will do this less.
What about SunCalc? We can't measure the shadow.
I didn't follow that argument.
Answers your question. SunCalc answers your question. What
No,
it does
doesn't.
is yes, it does. It converges. Okay, it converges and gets shorter overhead. Your shadow will get shorter overhead.
Sorry,
If you have a stick,
I know you can. I know you don't know anything about perspective. That's why you have to deflect to a different topic.
That's right. I must not. That's why I'm using sticks and shadows in measurements. So take a stick.
Exactly.
I thought we can't use sticks and shadows. The sticks
Follow
and
me real quick. If we take a
The
stick,
Gish Galob.
We can't use sticks and
Yeah.
shadows when they prove that the Earth is a sphere, though, can we?
Well, maybe we can. I'll hear you out. But
let's let
if we take-
Brian and Nerd have a word for it.
Nerd, if we take a stick and we put it at the equator, okay, during let's say when the sun is over Capricorn or over Cancer, okay, are you telling me we can't measure the shadow getting smaller as it gets closer to overhead, and then angling off to the right, like circling your northern hemisphere?
That has nothing to do with Star Trails, so you're moving away from that topic because you cannot defend your false claim. Let's just let me just
answer
that. And the other thing is, this is exactly what is expected, because if the sun is over the northern tropic, then it follows a small circle around the Earth, basically. And then the closer you get to noon, the shorter the shadow is. The higher the sun. This is perfectly expected. I don't know what your issue is here.
Oh, really? I'll tell you what you're going to get. You're going to get on the. Okay, you're going to get a shadow that traces a smiley face when the sun is over Cancer, and the reason doesn't it logically follow that if the sun is over Cancer, it's going to represent all the stars over Cancer. So in other words, if I could do a time lapse in the daytime with the stars, the same way I did with the moon, the sun, since it's us doing the sun would follow the stars in its respected location. And would you agree with that?
Before you answer, just hold that thought. I'm gonna allow you. I want to say a big thank you to Ertis Live. I mentioned it earlier. You weren't here. Thank you very much, brother. That you hooked me up with a few dollars on PayPal, and that does help me a lot. Actually, that's big good start. Thank you, brother.
Hey, Ertis Live came through on your birthday too, man.
Yeah, let's let Nerd Alert respond to you that point, and Ertis Live is on
really
after them.
Hey, just really quick. I think just to make everyone understand, Brian, could you just post that video that you made? Maybe everyone would understand what you're talking about. If maybe Jose, you could play it. That way everyone can get an understanding.
Yeah, he played it. I'll give him a timestamp. He played it already, but I'll give him a timestamp, and he could just go right to the sun calc, sun time lapse, and play it with no volume if he would. I'll give him a timestamp.
I'll repost the link. There you go. That's the link.
Yeah, there you go. Just y'all go check it out, man. And fast forward it to the if you want to get right to the nitty gritty, just go fast forward it to about 4 minutes or maybe 3.5 minutes, and you'll see sun calc with the stick and the sun time lapse.
The thing that's confusing to me, Brian.
Oh, hold on, Lel. I know you kind of started, but Nerd Alert still haven't. I don't know if you. Hopefully, you haven't forget. You were right there on cue to go ahead, man.
Yeah, I didn't forget, but I would because I didn't quite understand what Brian means by a smiley face and the sun over some topic. I would prefer if Brian could give this presentation that he was just talking about, if I understood correctly.
All right, give me a minute and I'll pull it up, and maybe I can share screen.
Is it in the video clip that you shared?
Yeah, it's in the video. It's when I show the sun. You can swipe you can swipe the arrow back and forth. Let me get a timestamp.
Yeah. Let's see.
Go to like 3.5 minutes.
That's fine.
Oh yeah, right here. There you go. Play. There you go.
Rewind it about 10 seconds. That's the sun going straight over. At first I showed it doing a frown over Capricorn, and
right
that's
there
it going straight. And now it's doing a smiley face. This is empirical. This is what we see on Earth, measurable with sticks and shadows.
Okay, I can answer that. That is a Mercator projection, maybe. So the Mercator projection, a small circle. May I answer? A small circle.
Yeah, sorry.
So that's what the sun. is tracing in our model, whether you like it or not. That's a small circle because it's not going. The center of the circle is not the center of Earth. And this doesn't map to a straight line in the Mercator projection.
Okay, that matches SunCalc matches reality. The point, the reason I brought this up is because these shadows match the shadows you see in reality.
In this, that's what exactly is this showing? Is this sorry, I'm getting confused here. This which projection is this showing?
It doesn't matter.
Yes, it matters.
It really doesn't, man. It matches reality. If you say we're standing on a globe and
it does matter. It does matter very much. And
I'm not saying you live on a Mercator, bro.
Is this the shadow length?
I don't think we live on a Mercator or a globe. My point is SunCalc is empirical. It doesn't matter what model we're on.
Yeah,
them shadows represent reality.
It does.
I misspoke earlier. That it would be a straight line. The sun itself, so the subsolar point, would be a straight line on the Mercator projection for a small circle. But I think this is showing something different. This is showing the length of the shadow.
Yeah, it's showing the arc length.
Yeah, and the distances from north to south on the Mercator are not proportional. So that doesn't work either.
If they were proportional, you'd have more explaining to do, but luckily
Brian,
proposed.
what are your thoughts on this one, Brian? On what I'm sharing right now? I don't know if you see my screen share. Earth is Live shared this. I've been playing it. It's looping. It's a little GIF.
Yeah, that was in my video. That was the way Eggshells tried to describe it, and that's why I brought in Kosho, showing that just even with pictures, we can show the separation. And SunCalc shows the separation too. That's the way they want to describe it, and that's the way it would have to work on globe. It's just not what we see in reality.
What separation are you talking about? Are you talking about at the horizon?
Yeah, I'm talking about the shadow changing angles in reality. Hey, quit talking about models and let's talk about reality, please.
Yeah, but the problem is you're showing something that's perfectly predictable.
You can't get away from a model, can you? What I'm talking about.
How do you think a sundial works? We've known about sundials for a long time.
Exactly. That's my whole point. Thank you.
Well, so what? We know about sundials.
Yeah, right. They show arcing and anarching. If the sun is over Cancer, it shows arcing. If the sun is over Capricorn, it shows antarcing.
Sorry,
These are measurable shadows.
What is antarcing?
Antarcing is arcing the other direction, I believe.
Brian, the fact of the matter is, at any time of day, anywhere on Earth, you can take the angle that SunCalc gives you, take the cosine of that angle and divide it by the length of your stick, and predict with 100% accuracy the length that you will measure.
I agree. And we can use cosine or sine. And why is that? Are the 90 degrees? That means the 90 degrees are parallel, right? If we can use sine and cosine, that means the baseline is parallel, right?
You can't use sine, you have to use cosine.
If you can use, all right, well, check this out. You think that that's the only circle that you could use? You don't think that we can use the same math?
Irony here is.
Every time I try to talk, that's crazy.
Well, I don't finish before you start talking, so you're talking over me.
I don't think that was true. I was trying to respond to you.
Mathematical formula, any time of day, anywhere on Earth, any day of the year, and predict the length of your shadow based off the mathematical formula and the length of the stick. The length of the stick and the cosine of the shadow.
Right. How do you think that calculator works? Thank you. And so that circle, so can't we use the same circle? And can't we use sine and the tangent and the cosine function on a circle with a circling sun?
Can I say shout out to 50 people watching? Thank you very much. Please hit that like if you guys are watching.
The problem is that the sun would not act the way it does on your circling. The shadows would not
get away from models, man. Please quit talking about models. Let's talk about reality, please.
I am talking about reality. Your reality does not purport to the flat Earth.
In reality,
you don't have.
If you took just one person with this formula, or two people with this formula, that's fine. You're correct. Well, what happens when you start adding, let's say, 75 people? Let's say one person in each state in the United
Better,
States.
Leo. What are you
would
talking about?
happen?
They're all
What would happen?
this formula is based on circles around a center point of Polaris.
No, it's not. Polaris
No,
has
it's
nothing to do
Yes,
with
it is, man.
No.
The sun is not Polaris. It has nothing to do with Polaris.
Well, go look into it, Leo, and talk to me once you find that out. Once you
So
figure out the
does-
ABC method of
Does the sun
fucking-
does the sun change speed over the course of the year?
No,
I think in every model, I think it does. But let's please quit.
No,
Let's talk
actually,
about
it doesn't.
reality. Okay, so we don't really
Yeah,
know.
we're talking about reality. During one
what
flat
the sun
Earth,
is
I would
doing.
say Polaris and the sun are the same thing. They're not.
We're getting a little bit wild over here. A little bit of talking over each other. So let's try to relax, everybody, one at a time. I'm gonna be here for a few hours, so take our time. Let's take our time.
All right.
Yeah, no rush, man. Make your point.
No rush. All flat earthers, except you, will accept the fact that the sun and Polaris are not the same thing. So why are you bringing up Polaris when we're talking shadows made by the sun?
Leo, I don't think the sun and Polaris are the same thing. What do you mean?
Then why did you bring up Polaris at all? We're talking about the sun and the shadows made by sticks.
You're showing formulas, bro, that all involve a circle on Polaris.
No, I'm talking about circle. I'm talking about the sun and a.
Don't bring up equations you don't understand, then, bud.
I do understand them
You
because
mean
I've
don't bring up
personally done that
equations?
myself, and it worked.
I mean, don't bring up equations that you don't understand.
Okay, Paid, can I ask you a question?
I have
Okay.
done
Please let me respond.
An accurate response.
Oh,
I have.
Yeah. Let's let Nerd respond.
Yeah, I need to jump in here. All right. Leo, make your last point. If Brian wanna respond you, then we'll go to Nerd Alert, and then we go to Earth is Live. Earth is Live is standby.
I have done this, Brian. I have taken the cosine. I assumed the timeanddate.com gave me the proper angle. That's the only assumption I made. I used the cosine of that angle and grabbed a stick and measured the length of that stick. And I was accurately able to predict, based on that formula, the length of the shadow. I measured the shadow and it equaled the same length as the formula said.
You done? I'd like to respond real quick. I'll make it quick. Nerd, you're next.
I'm not done.
Okay.
Problem here is that everyone on Earth, at the same time, when the sun is up for all people in that area, they could all do the same thing and all measure the length of the shadow of that using that formula, and all people everywhere in the United States at that time would measure the angle that sunanddate.com gave us, sunanddate.com, timeanddate.com, or any other.
Yeah, time and date. I'd agree. That's empirical. I'd agree that's
empirical. That everyone on Earth.
You cannot. Oh fuck.
It is empirical that everyone on Earth in the United States, if they did that formula, they would be able to accurately measure the same length of shadow as the formula gave them. Everyone in the United States.
Yeah, Brian is gonna respond. Shout out to Bandit for $5 Canadian super chat. Thank you, Bandit, for the super chat. Brian, respond that, and then we go to Nerd Alert. No need to repeat the question again or double down. We're gonna move on to other participants. Brian, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I'm not disagreeing with time and date. That's empirical. Sun calc. That's also empirical. That's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about reality instead of your model or my model. I want to talk about reality, and then we can convert that to models.
Reality.
Thank you, Leo. Thank you, Leo. Thank you, Ryan. Nerd Alert. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah. First of all, I agree with Lael that if the distances work out from our model, then Flat Earth has a lot to explain. The other thing is, Brian, you have basically said that the Euclidean distance, so the distance on the Mercator projection, should be proportional to the length of the shadow. So from the
I don't claim
topic
I don't claim
to the
Mercator, but
equator.
sorry to interrupt.
No, you claim the Mercator because you showed time and date, which uses the Mercator apparently.
No, I
Or
said I
maybe
agree with that.
maybe
Zero-
Equirect. Please, can I finish my sentence? Maybe
Yeah, sorry,
maybe Equirectangular. That could also be possible. I didn't check. I think it's Mercator. So you make a claim about the Mercator projection in this case. I know you don't claim that the Earth is shaped in a specific way that the Mercator projection works, as we say it does.
So Sun Calc proves we live on a Mercator, or is that what you're saying? I just want to be clear.
No.
Okay, thank you. But you would agree that Sun Calc shows us angles that are based in real life, right?
Of course, that's a map projection because you can show a sphere on a 2D screen.
Right, and it shows us angles though that work in real life, right? The angles that Sun Calc shows from all locations, for the most part, work in real life, right? On that flat screen,
explain it again. Let me try to explain it again.
You can answer the question and then explain it if you'd like.
Your question is based on misunderstandings of what my argument is, so I don't see much of a point in going into all the misunderstandings.
Yeah, well, restate it, try to
it
reword
better.
it, and I'll try and understand it, because maybe I ain't understanding it. So reword it a little different.
Yeah, you showed this Mercator projection, which I assume it is, and you have a straight line for the tropic and you have a straight line for the equator. And then what this diagram or this animation showed, as far as I understand it, is not the subsolar point, but the length of the shadow. And you expect this shadow, the length of the shadow to be proportional to the distance on the Mercator map. And
I think I understood you that time. I think I got it. So since it's the Mercator, which I didn't know it even was, I was only looking at the angles in the shadow directions, and I agree it matches Earth. So would you say that the angles, would you say that the angles do not match reality?
The angles, this diagram shows the length of the shadow, as far as I understand it. And you have made let me finish. You have made a claim that this is proportional to the distance between the two lines, the tropic and the equator. Basically, I'm rephrasing your point here. You say it should be straight, and you say it should be straight and not a smiley face. And you have done nothing to justify this assumption. Intuitively, you think that's how it should work, but you have not justified it in any way. And what I would do...
So that's not how it works. Hold on, I gotta cut in, bro. I gotta cut in, because now I know why you're not answering this question.
You have to overtalk, I know.
Question, bro. I'm not trying to got you, bro. Does the Sun Calc sticks and shadow angles match reality? I don't care what model it is.
I'm not talking about the angles. I'm not talking about the angles. Your argument was the distances. Why can't you answer the question, bro? You move from one topic to the other. You move from one topic to the other. It's the Gish Gallop.
I've been asking you this for 10 minutes, bro. You got me stuck.
All right. Let's move around. Earth Live is next over here on queue. Maybe Earth Live want to answer your question, and we'll give him a few minutes to go back and forward with you, Brian. That's cool.
What I'm curious about, because I did watch your video, and I was trying my best to see where you were comparing the star trails with Sun Calc. I was just really curious about. I don't know, if there's something I'm missing or something like that.
This is the quickest, most concise description I can give. Okay, the moon, pretty much all the heavenly bodies, if it's us rotating or in reality, whatever, wherever the sun, moon, or stars are at in the ecliptic, they match. So, but here's the problem. Okay, in the beginning of the video, I showed the moon in different places in the ecliptic, and it follows the stars for that location. The problem is the moon's only in one spot at a time, and so is the sun. But the stars are simultaneously spread across the ecliptic. So they're doing all the motions at once. So logic follows that if the sun, if we could give them stars each
the brightness of the sun, just say for a thought experiment, we could measure the separate shadows simultaneously at one time. And we could measure the frown and the smiley face, the shadow, the divergence, the convergence, the slight. It's not even that much, but that slight convergence and divergence that we see in reality. And that's why I was asking that guy: does it match reality? Because I'm not trying to say we live on a Mercator or a globe or whatever. I'm just trying to see if it matched reality, because that's where we need common ground, and we need to be able to start and ask if Sun Calc matches reality, and then we can move forward. It's not a gotcha.
Well, Sun Calc does. I mean, I'm honestly, Brian, I'm still confused about it. But I mean, if you want to see if Sun Calc matches reality, all you got to do is go to your location, like any time of the day, right, and see where the shadow should fall. Then you take your globe, and you can, use a light source, put it a distance away, level with the center of the globe, and see if the shadows match.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best thing to do, Brian.
You ever considered the fact that maybe Sun Calc doesn't use a globe because it wouldn't work?
No, actually, it only works on the globe.
No,
it
it does.
won't work on your flat
It has to be the globe.
Yeah, Brian, if you look at the model that I always bring up, it matches Sun Calc exactly, and all I have to do is rotate a sphere and have a distant sun. That's it. However, interestingly in your video, you didn't move much south of the equator, because then the shadow becomes a little bit unexplainable on a flat Earth, but perfectly matches a sphere that rotates.
It doesn't even match in the northern hemisphere. There's no way the sun rises north of east on a space pizza. Just can't do it.
So, Ray, and would everybody agree then that the shadows show divergence on either side of the equator? Okay, well,
shadows show divergence. Is that what the hell you learn that? Is that what you're talking about? The fact that the shadows show divergence?
We learn that Sun Calc does show divergence and convergence on either side of the equator.
There's a reason why There's a reason why
we need to define.
There very well may be. There very well may be. But until they can acknowledge that, there's no conversation with them.
Is this what you're talking about? The divergence of the shadow patterns?
Just 2 seconds. Brian, what do you mean when you say divergence of shadows?
Smiley face and frown.
No.
Okay? North of the equator, the stars on location.
They're emoticons.
Measurable with shadow.
Please let me finish my question. If I have a stick in the ground and I have a non-divergent shadow and the divergent shadow, what would be the difference, please?
Okay, the shadows are going to angle off, okay, just like they do in reality. Do you agree Sun Calc shadows demonstrate reality?
Fuck, the only way that works is on a globe. And it doesn't have anything to do with the equator. It has to do with where the sun is.
You do admit that the Sun Calc
you can be north of the equator this time of year and get, in your case, a frowny face because the sun is to the north of you. Because the sun travels between the two tropics, so it has shit to do with the equator.
You do agree, okay? Can I get one person to answer this question?
You don't understand what the hell you're talking about.
Relax, everybody. Ask your question, Brian. Go ahead. Let's see if anybody want to answer it directly.
It's weird that nobody will say whether or not the Sun Calc diverging shadows match reality.
Yes, they match reality. So go.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Now
however, the reason they match reality is because the Earth is a sphere.
No, okay, do you agree with that second statement, Brian? Do you agree with that follow-up statement?
No.
Yes,
why?
It doesn't work on the space pizza.
Let's hear why he doesn't agree with it. That's interesting.
Because the shadows show, if we could have them two suns simultaneously, or three suns, let's just say one over the equator, one over Cancer, and one over Capricorn, they're going to move away from each other. Not that much, but a little bit, enough to measure.
You mean the shadows? The shadows will diverge.
Yeah,
so
we'll time lapse.
You idiot. Of course they will, because they're in different places in the sky.
Each other, idiot. There's no need.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
So what about Star Trails? What about Star Trails? We're there all the time.
You scientifically illiterate person who doesn't
understand.
Shut
your fat ass up, dude. Answer the question. Quit being rude.
That wasn't that bad, Brian, because I am actually illiterate in a lot of things, and that doesn't bother me too much.
No, but dude, he's trying to kill the conversation, man. And he just agreed. He just agreed that the sun calc shadows that match reality. They show divergence. Okay, I understand.
Because
They're only one at a time.
Listen to this,
guys. Come on, one at a time.
I just want to say one thing. Listen to the following statement, Brian. On what you call divergence, as in the extent of the shadow angle difference throughout the day, if you pick 3 points of that on SunCalc and then plot them to the map, then project it onto a sphere, and then have a look at a rotated sphere, you will see that those shadows match angle exactly based on the rotation of the sphere. That's very weird, right?
Okay, you say that, but I say this. I say if we're on a sphere with a 93 million mile sun, if the shadow starts out at 23 degrees, okay, it would have to maintain 23 degree shadow all the way across our line of sight. Just like the one overhead goes straight overhead, it matches a 0 degree shadow. It would have to match a 23 degree shadow. It would have to go straight overhead, like the picture P-Ball showed. But that's not what we see in reality.
On the equator,
There's a reason.
on the equinox. It only
So the
occurs
one-
There is a
That's a
reason.
chill. You gotta wait for your turn or breaks to do your full statement. The interruption in between every other word is not working out, man. Never works out. Let's not do that.
So don't forget, Brian, on our model, if you're criticizing it, we have a 23.5 degree axial tilt, which then matches everything exactly as the model that I keep showing everybody matches exactly.
Okay, so what's your explanation of why the shadows diverge? If we could brighten up the stars.
Sphere with
Hold on, let me finish my
23.5
question.
degrees.
Ray. Can I please finish my question?
Yes,
Okay,
apologies.
if we could brighten up the stars, okay, let's just say thought experiment. If we could brighten up the stars and have them simultaneously, one go over Cancer, one Equator, one Capricorn, okay, if we're turning in one direction, whatever angle, whatever direction it may be, wouldn't they all follow that, or would they diverge? Could they diverge with a 93 million mile sun? That's my question.
Based on your latitude, the angles on the ground, as in true direction, would be different because you're on a sphere. And this is the concept you do not get. I see that you don't get it, Brian. I see that you clearly do not understand that if I have two different latitudes on a sphere separated by any discernible difference, that the shadows will not be cast in the same direction, even on the same longitude.
Okay, may I point out that the problem Brian seems to have here is that he thinks that one map projection should explain everything. That is the angle to the sun, the length of the shadow, and the subsolar point maybe. And that exactly this doesn't work because this is a map projection, and there is no map projection that preserves all these properties from a 3D sphere to a 2D map.
So I'd
That
like
is
to know
exactly
what
why
camp
it's
you're in,
not-
Merv. What camp are you in? And Stingray, what camp are you in? Because here's your options. You give me a new option, and works on a globe only. That follows. That's not one of my options. What an option is it wide angle lens that causes the separation of the equatorial star trails? Is it a perspective that causes or he's claiming that you don't see it at all?
Yeah,
Can we add
so
another category?
that was a question addressed to me, I think.
Yeah, you
So-
and Stingray, and anybody who wants to
Yeah.
answer, but y'all answer at a time if you don't mind.
Yeah, so the wide angle lens, exactly, that's caused by the perspective projection itself. It does not require lens distortion in the sense of barrel distortion, maybe. This would also happen with a perfect rectilinear lens because this also happens in the mathematical description of the perspective projection, so the idealized process. And
With what he said. There you go.
Mhm. And I can even prove this mathematically, but I think this
No,
may
you
be
can't.
difficult to comprehend then. Yes, I
No,
can.
you can't. No, you can't.
What?
Because let me tell you.
I can. Yes, I can.
circles around-
Absolutely.
Hold
You
on.
say I can't.
No,
I have
you can
an.
prove
I
it
have an.
mathematically, but you can't prove that the shadows would behave that way because they don't. The math does not show that.
No, no,
We are
no.
not.
Yeah, that's not what I'm claiming. I'm
Okay.
not claiming I can prove mathematically what reality is because that's not how it works. You cannot prove observation from mathematics. You can only show that observation is consistent with the mathematics.
Here's my stance.
And I
My
can
stance
show
is that
that your argument is invalid because I can
Okay.
prove it mathematically that your argument of the star trail divergence is invalid.
So what is my
That-
argument? Can you steel man my argument or summarize
yeah.
it?
Yes. So if you have a star trail, let's say we don't have a photo that matches it exactly, but let's say we have a straight line of stars going from top to bottom at the equator, and left and right we have like circle lines or curving lines, right? That
Yeah,
curve
and
away
they,
from
and,
the
and
center
they
to
match
the
the
top.
shadows projected by the sun in its respective position. That would be my claim.
You're already trying to move on to another topic again.
No, I'm just claiming reality, man. It's all jumbled together. My claim is
Yeah,
reality.
it's I understand that you can't stick to one question because you get destroyed there.
I'm sorry if you feel that way, bro. But reality
yeah.
is reality, man. Whether,
Yeah.
whether it
No,
whether
no,
it
no.
has 2 points or not, I'm sorry, man.
Stop. May I finish my point? This is getting really frustrating.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Sorry.
Your first argument, you have several arguments, but I'm addressing your first. Your first is that you have the straight line in the center, ideally, for the star trails at the equator, and then you have curving lines that towards the top of the frame curve away from it, and the distances in pixels increases, right?
Yes.
And I can-
measurably. You can
and
measure
I
the
can-
pixels. You can measure the pixels with
Okay,
a
fine,
video
fine.
or a picture.
That's fine. And I can prove mathematically that even with a perfectly rectilinear lens, this is expected to happen even though the angular separation does not increase. Because
So you
the
do
angular,
agree, though.
the pixel
You do agree
distance
that
is not
they
proportional.
separate.
I agree that the pixel distance increases, yeah.
Yeah, and if we're and for anybody who tries to bring up celestial navigation, this is very minor and it's way off at the horizon. Nobody uses stars way off at the horizon to accurately navigate. It'll
No,
give you
no.
a general direction,
No.
but
Celestial
it doesn't.
navigation works very differently. In
Right,
celestial
I agree.
navigation,
I agree.
you don't usually take a photo and then make the measurements from there, but you measure the angles directly, and that is very different.
Yeah, I agree. He brought up celestial navigation earlier, and I don't think it relates. Agreed.
You're conflating at least 3 different things here, as people have told you.
What
That's
exactly
why
am I
I-
wrong
I-
about,
that's
Dave?
why I
Please tell me
can't
exactly
understand
what I'm
what
wrong
that is.
about.
You're saying that
That's
the
exactly-
stars. You're conflating the movement of the stars in the sky with the movement of the shadow of the stars and sun on the ground. These are 2 separate things that will travel in separate directions because the Earth is a sphere.
So what am I saying that's wrong? Okay, so you do agree that the shadows show the smiley face and the frown.
Well, no
like
shit.
Sun Cal
We can do
shows.
that.
What do the
Okay, and you also
shadows have to
agree
do
that
with the
the
star
time-lapse
trails?
shows.
We've
in the
understood
time
this.
lapse.
We've understood this for a couple hundred years now because we've made
Very good.
sundials.
But Brian,
So you're
what
right.
do the
And so
star
you also
trails? Wait,
agree that, hold
Brian.
on, one more second, bud. And you also agree that the star trails reflect that in the sky. Reflect
But what do the star trails have to do with like the sun, the shadows? I'm
Because-
trying to make that connection.
If you watch my
conflating the
video, I
shadows.
show the moon because we can only see the sun in one place at a time. Okay, and we can't get shadows from the stars. But wherever they're at in conjunction with each other is the direction that they move. So if the star's over Cancer, if the sun is over Cancer, it follows the stars that are over Cancer, and so does the moon. They all correspond with each other. So if I could brighten up the stars or put the sun in multiple positions at once, but I can't do that. All I could do is logically correlate the 2.
Yeah, but
Brian,
that's
it's
not.
just
But
like-
the shadow on
Go
the
ahead.
Earth is not going to be straight because the Earth is curved.
Brian, just like going back to what Stingray was talking about, like on this model that we have, and then using SunCalc, when you look at any day of the week month of the year, whatever, in your location, the shadow is going to match perfectly with any location on Earth. Why? Because it's based on a sphere.
Thank you. Agreed.
So what? Like, why are you trying to bring star trails into this? I'm sorry, man. I'm just not following at all.
He's saying that the stars follow the sun. If we could brighten up all the stars, they would act similar. Some big word.
Do they though?
I'll temporarily concede the fact that you say that results in a sphere, just because you acknowledge that that the angles represent reality. Okay.
Well, no shit. We know about sun. We've known about this for a long time. We can calculate
Yeah,
this.
you keep
Not only
saying
that, we
that,
can
okay.
calculate it in the future.
Okay, so
how do you think? How do you think sun calc works?
Does the star and the shadows know that the Earth is curving or? I mean,
no,
how do
man.
they know
That's
that- how do they know
that's
that
just
they
how
know
shadows and spheres work. That's just how shadows and spheres work, man.
We can
If I
calculate
did
it.
two shadows at once, let me just boil it down like this. If I okay, in your mind, you got a shadow coming from sunrise. Let's just say you got a shadow coming from sunrise. Okay, and sun calc shows it converging at the equator. Okay, toward the equator, and then diverging at sunset. Okay, the shadows reflect that. We can demonstrate that in reality. You can do it on your kitchen table. How would you mock that
Wait a
on your
minute.
kitchen table?
Wait-
What would you do?
wait a minute.
What would you do to mimic that shadow in reality?
Wait.
On
I
a
think.
small scale.
Wait, hold on 1 second. So, are you saying because when you look at sun calc, it looks flat, and you're looking at a 2D representation, and the way the shadow line, is that what you're trying to say? Like the shadow line doesn't match reality or something? Is that what you're saying? If that makes any sense, you're looking at a 2D representation of the Earth, whether you're looking at sun calc, right? And when you move the crosshair around in a different location, it shows a shadow. Which direction the shadow would be? Are you?
Well, what
are
me
you
and you know
saying?
at this point, here's the one thing me and you know at this point. We know that the sun calc sticks and shadows match reality. Now, one quick question: how could we match that on a table, on a kitchen table? What would we have to do to match the shadows?
You can't.
You'd
You
have to
can't
put the
because
sun.
kitchen table is flat and the Earth is not flat.
No, you'd have to put the. Okay, only way it would is if you put the light source really, really far away.
Ryan, do you have the ability to view my screen quickly?
Another drunken
I just
another
got your
drunken
screen up.
warped demo. No, I'm just kidding.
I
Yeah,
got
let
your
me look
screen
at it.
up, Stingray.
Yeah, so this will just be really quick. So, in 3D, primitive object, sphere, if we look from the top, you can see that the edges all are parallel in this direction on a sphere. Now, the sphere is the celestial bodies. These are the stars, just mapped to a sphere. Now, there is a camera
It's
down.
not showing, man. All I see is just an orange disc that looks like a CD, kind of like a transparent CD.
Can you see the actual lines on this? Yeah.
Hey, I only ask one request. Whatever you show both at once. So if you're going to show 1 over Cancer, simultaneously show 1 over Capricorn.
No, this is just showing you the phenomenon that you keep bringing up about divergent stars. But what I'm saying here is this is a celestial sphere, and we have lines that are going to be rotating, and these lines are all in the same direction. And I've got a camera down here, and that's what the view on the right is. Just really quickly, Brian. Let me finish this. Just really quickly, Brian. So this camera on the right that we're looking through shows us the same sphere, but if I increase, or rather decrease the millimeters here to increase the field of view, this is what you're on about. So you can see here now what's happening to this. Like Nerd said, it is a function of perspective. It is mathematically proven, except this, what we're still looking at, is the inside of a sphere.
This is what I was trying to explain to somebody else, another server. This exact same thing.
Yeah, it's really simple.
Yeah.
And by the way, this I think we should get back to trying to.
Stingray, you do agree we see separation then, right? So you do agree we see deviation or separation, whether it's real or not. You do agree we see it.
No, we see real separation as predicted by a sphere that's rotating.
Okay, so if I'm moving over backwards, and that's what's causing the stars to set, why are they separating? Why is the shadows diverging?
Because we don't live on a flat Earth.
No, I'm just asking. What am I? Can I move two directions at once? All of a sudden?
Because we don't live on a flat Earth.
I'm not even claiming flat Earth, bro. I'm not
Yes,
claiming
you are.
flat Earth, bro.
Yes, you
No,
are.
you just come in with bullshit, bro.
The position, the arc that the sun takes in the sky is directly proportional to your latitude away from where the sun is. The further north you are, the further south you are away from the subsolar point, the longer, the steeper the smile or the frown it will be.
So you agree that there's a smile and a frown, and
no
the sticks
shit.
and shadows show that. Okay, good. So the
Yeah,
sticks
so,
and shadows
by the way,
represent separation.
So you agree that we can measure the Earth and measure the sun with the sticks and shadows? Then welcome to the globe, because that's what Eratosthenes did.
Okay, show me with shadows. Do you have a globe or a ball at home? Show me. Show me two motions. Show me actual separation of shadows. Okay, on a ball or a globe. I've tried it a million different ways. It's not possible. I can show you mathematically, like you're saying. We could do it mathematically. Do it. We could show one at a time. We could show. As far as
are you
separation,
saying, hold on.
in reality, I can't demonstrate that. Neither can
Brian, are you saying like two different places on sun calc, and the shadow deviates? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, have you checked out SunCalc yet, B-Ball?
Yes, that's because it's on a 2D projection, man.
No, it's not. We see that in reality, bro. That represents. You already agreed.
That's why it looks like that.
Reality. Bro, you agreed. Who cares how many D it is? You agreed it represents reality. Them shadow angles.
Yeah, but you don't understand what you're saying now. You're proving
If
that the Earth is not flat.
doing an arc,
Saying the Earth is
arguing
flat.
away from each other, bro.
Wait, hold on, Brian. SunCalc, the map on SunCalc is just a visual representation. The angles of the shadows are based on a sphere.
They're based on reality, bro. They're not on a sphere, B-Ball.
And the position of the sun. That's
B-Ball, they're on a map, bro, but I'm not claiming that it's flat, okay? I'm just saying they're based in reality, bro.
But in that representation, they show it as flat. We understand that. But the shadows and the position of the sun,
is it
the shadows, right, and the position of the sun are based on the heliocentric model.
So why do the shadows deviate away from each other? What's your explanation of why
the Earth is a
shadows deviate?
Because you're further away. You're further
That's not an explanation, bro. I can say they deviate because there's two suns. That doesn't prove nothing. I'm asking why.
Because it's representing what we see in reality on a 2D flat plane.
So your reason why the shadows diverge from each other is because it represents a 2D plane.
No, I think because you're not. Excuse me. You're not understanding what I'm saying.
What do you mean I'm not understanding, bro?
You're not understanding.
You keep going back and forth, bro. For one second, you're saying SunCalc matches reality. The next second, you're claiming it doesn't.
It's only because they're using a flat map, right? But the shadows are represented because of a sphere. That's what your disconnect
it's only because it's a flat map, so it wouldn't happen in reality then, because we live on a globe, right?
Yes,
so hold on. Let me finish, people. Let me finish. So since it's showing it on a flat map, that's the only reason we see that. Okay, and since the Earth's a globe, we would not see that in reality. What are you claiming, bro? Stick to one or the other, please.
Again, you're disconnect. I see where you're disconnected.
Bro, you don't understand. Bro, I'm trying to reach you.
Now I understand. Now I understand where your disconnect is. You think that because it's represented on 2D plane, that and then the shadows look the way they do, that's the way they should look like on a flat plane. Is it something like that?
Hold on,
I'm
please
trying to understand. Well, I do
please don't move on
understand, but
just yet. B-Ball, instead of talking, just listen, and I'll give you full attention, bro, and I'll steel man what you say and everything. Now, what you just said, please don't interrupt. What you just said was that it's showing it on a flat surface, and that's why it's showing the shadows diverge from each other, okay? Now, I asked you, because you keep flip-flopping, but I don't think you realize it. And now I said, okay, because earlier you said it happens in reality. So I'm saying, so is it happening because it's showing it on a flat surface, meaning on a sphere, reality, your reality, it wouldn't work? We don't see shadows doing that in reality? Because earlier you said that we do see them shadow angles in reality.
we do.
Now you're
Yes, we do see because okay.
So
Just
it's
like
not
I
because
said earlier. Hold on, Brian. Hold on. If you and I went out, if you and I went, excuse me, if you and I went outside right now, right, and we put use a traffic pole or something or a parking lot pole, right? We saw the angle of the shadow, right? Then we pulled out SunCalc, and we say, oh shit, it matches exactly, right? And then you try to do that same thing. If you try to do that same thing on a table, it wouldn't match.
Right. But it does work on the flat program,
would only
right?
match if the sun was really, really far away.
Okay, but it works on a flat fucking projection, does it not?
Projection of the
Only
globe.
that's where
Okay, so it does work on a flat projection. So which is it? I need you to stick with one or the other.
I understand. I understand your disconnect.
Stick with one or the other. Stick with one or the other. Okay.
I understand.
So now
your
you're not
disconnect now.
claiming. Hold on, Peg. Now you're not claiming that the shadow separation is because it's on a flat program, right? So you're not claiming that anymore, right? You're retracting that. Just to be clear.
You're disconnecting because it's showing a flat plane, right? And it's actually representing a sphere. You think that it's actually happening on a flat plane.
Can I just show you this, Brian? Because this is exactly what you're on about.
You can show me that, but I want you to first refer to what Eggshells and B-Bald showed. Also, what I showed in my video is the wire frame representing the latitudes going in straight lines parallel to each other. I'd like you to refer to that because it looks like you're about to show me something altogether different.
No. So this is the divert. So here we've got a model with the sun 90 odd million miles away, and we have got vertical sticks from the ground, so perpendicular to the ground, on the same longitude. Now, what you can see here is what you can see here is shadow divergence. So
yeah, I see a great. I see it. Why don't you match SunCalc? Why doesn't it match? Right?
No. This matches SunCalc exactly, 100%. Within.
No, I don't think so, bud.
Let me see. I'll see if it matches.
Dude, it's showing.
Wait a minute.
There's a reason they don't put a globe in SunCalc, guys. There's a reason they don't. It's because it doesn't work.
That would be noon in North Africa.
Stingray, if they could show it working on a globe, SunCalc would be on the globe, bro.
My gosh, can we go one at a time, for fuck's sake?
I'm set to January the 1st. I can set it to today's date if you want. But Brian, this shows you that on a sphere, looking at a sun, having a stick in the ground, if we look below the equator on January the 1st, here in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, my God, I'm a dipshit. In the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, we can actually see that this shadow in a true direction is different than the one in Africa, which is different to the one in Europe.
So not following latitude lines, right, Stingray? Don't deviate. So not following latitude lines, right, Stingray?
Should be.
It won't matter. They will both deviate. You want to see them in latitude, right there.
So there's a reason they don't put sun calc on a globe, because it doesn't work you're demonstrating
Brian,
why
you
they
have a
don't
globe,
why
don't you?
sun calc is on a flat surface.
Watch, Brian. Watch, Brian.
I've even made a video about this, how it matches on a globe.
Yes, his
Okay, no, let him go. Let him go. Let him go. Let him go.
Do you now see they diverge this way as well?
Yes, I see your lines diverging perfectly, bud.
Yes.
You want to explain that?
Yeah, they match sun calc. They match sun calc because on the west coast of
keep them going. Keep them going, Stingray. Don't stop them right there, Stingray. You got to show the convergence and the divergence, pal.
He's
Don't
gonna tell
just
you
stop them
why.
halfway.
But let him tell you why, Brian. Let's try to give Stingray a break.
Yeah, but let's hold him to task though. At least.
Let's try to give Stingray the opportunity to explain what he wants to explain, and then you will have the opportunity to tell him, can you change this? Can you show me that? But I know he wants to present something specific, and you're redirecting him. Let's allow him.
I got a globe right here, Stinger. Okay.
Let him do his thing first, and then you can redirect him. I think he'd be okay to play along, and help you out, dude, man.
Right, so Brian, we see divergence at the same moment in time universally. Let's say UTC time. And the reason why I say that is that on the west coast of Africa here, it is a different time of day than off the coast of South America on the left. However, in this moment of rotation, in general UTC time, this is what is predicted by SunCalc and matches the rotation of a sphere 100% latitude or longitude, my friend.
Great, then show me the lines coming and going. Don't just show me some crazy, fucked up, crazy shit that doesn't match the longitude or latitude lines. Show me them converging and diverging from one light source.
This is one light source, Brian. It is a sun, 96 million miles away. There it is. One light source casting all these shadows. There you go. Job done.
Negative. That's what I'm asking. I'm asking you to show me the convergence and divergence from one light source. Doesn't work, bud.
Because it's on a curved surface, Brian.
One light source.
You can't understand that.
Okay.
One light source.
And he should have no trouble
shadows. One light source casting shadows on objects which are on a curved surface.
Okay, so parallel light. No parallel light then, right?
This is all parallel light,
Oh my
Brian.
God,
Okay, but why do we have parallel shadows? If we got parallel light, we got parallel shadows, pal. Don't get loud.
Oh my God, Brian.
Let's relax, everybody. Let's relax.
Yeah. Okay, Brian. So
There's no getting around this. Let me respond,
Brian,
Stingray.
please let me finish. There's two things I want to say. These are explicit truths. Number one, in this scene exists a parallel sun 96 million miles away casting nothing but parallel light. The reason I know this is it's...
parallel shadows.
Please let me finish. Please let me finish.
You're interrupting my main point, dude. You're interrupting my main point, Stingray. Why don't you want me to get my main point out, bro? My only point is my 2 second point. Why aren't the shadows parallel? Why aren't shadows parallel? That's what
Let me finish.
Brian.
Let me finish, Brian.
He wasn't done.
2 seconds, bro. Uninterrupted, bro. 2 seconds.
But
Why
he
aren't
wasn't
shadows
done.
parallel?
You interrupt Brian. Brian, he wasn't done. You interrupted him for
I know,
2 seconds.
dude. He interrupted me, man. I'm just got one quick comment.
All right. Okay. Let's do this. Nobody interrupted anybody. Thank you, everybody, for watching. You know, I was about to press the button and shut the computer down, shut the show. But we are going to do this. First, I want to read a super chat. We got by Tommy Grumble. Tommy Grumble says, Flight Radar 24 use the same projection map. Why does the planes fly in big curves? Good to see you again, Jose. Also, go make a drawing, Gary. Thank you, Tommy. Appreciate the super chat. But before you answer that, hopefully, you know what? I'll bring it back, that super chat. Just wanted to thank him. But the Stingray, I want to hear what you were gonna say. And in between, we got into this big measuring context. I want to hear what you have to say, and then after you are done, maybe Brian have a clarification to make or a point to make. We're gonna do that. So while Stingray do his 1 minute, take his 1 minute chance to present, we will not interrupt, and we will continue going back and forward. Everybody participating without jumping in each other's toes. You know, let's do it.
Okay, so very importantly, there's two very important things about this model. One, it uses a directional light source. In other words, there is parallel light. There's nothing but parallel light. It's only parallel light. The other thing is the light source is a long way away, but it doesn't actually matter because it's a directional light source. The shadows that we're seeing here are actually parallel. They happen to just be cast on a sphere, which is not a flat surface. Now, an important thing here is if I move this flat surface up to these shadows, we can see that the shadows are parallel. The sheer fact that they are being cast on a sphere causes the divergence that confuses the living fuck out of you, Brian. Thank you.
Yeah, all I was trying to say is no parallel shadows. You're calling them shadows parallel, but any idiot can see they're fucking diverging. We can measure them diverging away from each other. Let's just say that we don't know what we're standing on. We have no clue. Let's say we're all the same orientation. Let's say we're all the same orientation, okay? And the sun's 93 million miles away, okay? The shadow, no matter what way we fucking angle them, they're going to be exactly parallel. They're never going to diverge no matter how you angle them, bro, if the sun's 93 million miles away. But nice try, Slickster.
I really don't think you're looking at the screen right now, because if you were, you would see that you've just fucked up royally.
I'm looking at the screen, bro. I'm looking at the screen.
Do you think these shadows here that are being calculated in real time are parallel, yes or no?
So are the shadows measuring, separating from each other, or are they parallel? You can't have both, dude.
Look at this. Look at this, Brian. If you're looking at my screen, can you answer me the question, are these shadows parallel, just yes or no?
I can't see, man. All I see is like 3 white lines on either side.
He's not even paying attention to your screen to begin with.
I am looking. I'm looking at the screen, and now I see lines crossing.
Right, so these are the objects casting the shadows. We're over the shadows. Can you see that the shadows are actually parallel, yes or no?
Yes, now they're parallel. Yeah.
Boom. Awesome. The very same shadows, when I move the plane out of the way...
Don't bend the shadows.
Look, I'm not bending the shadows. They are being cast onto a sphere. They are cast onto a sphere. They are parallel, but then we cast them onto a sphere.
Wait, what do you mean they're parallel?
Sphere.
Our lines of latitude?
Sphere.
Our lines of latitude parallel, Stingray? Our lines of latitude parallel. Answer the question. Yes. Why don't... Okay, do them match lines of latitude, Stingray? No, they don't.
Latitude
they're not parallel, bro. Lines of latitude are parallel, bro. Them are not parallel.
He sees truth and he doesn't want to accept it because he believes the Earth is flat.
So no matter what I say, y'all cannot concede that the fucking shadows do not match lines of latitude that are parallel. They fucking diverge and converge. Everything you're showing is backing my argument up.
They diverge and converge because it's on a curved surface, Brian.
All right, I need to do a proper shout out because I heard that my microphone was breaking up a little bit in the previous one. So properly, thank you everybody for watching in here. We got 51 people watching, 37 likes. We can do it a little bit better. So if you haven't hit the thumbs up, please like now. You are hot micing a little bit, Brian Ligue. Big shout out to, there are 13 people over here besides my 2 accounts in Discord. Thank you everybody for coming in, and you can still be a part of the show and come in and hang out, and might stay another extra half an hour, and then you guys can stay in the Discord and hang out. I am happy to be back. If you guys want to support, there's a PayPal link and a super chat that you can hit me up in there. I did a kind of a setup in the YouTube. It's temporary. I like the way it looks. It looks odd. strange, but it was just in the moment. So we'll find a good layout for the YouTube viewing. For right now, that's the rest of the show today. Probably tomorrow we're gonna use the same. Let's do it. Boom.
Stingray.
May I make a point
Yeah,
here?
we definitely got to
The
calm down a
lines-
little bit, man. That got the blood boiling a little bit, dude.
Okay,
That was a little
good idea.
excessive. Go ahead. I'm gonna back off and listen for a minute.
So the lines of latitude, you can obtain the lines of latitude if you have parallel light, sorry, and you have the lines that are projecting the shadows, so to say. If these are also parallel to one another, and you have the light at a right angle to these lines or to these rods, let's say, then you can get lines of latitude, and these are also parallel on the sphere. The shadows are parallel on the sphere.
Okay.
But,
I got a question.
but what Stingray is showing here is different. So you have these rods at an angle, and I think they're supposed to be plump at each point, so they go through the center, right?
Correct. Yes.
Exactly, and that's the reason why there is.
Bro, he's having to use a pole. He's having to use a pole that's 5 times the size of Earth. Okay, I'm talking about little sticks in the ground, and I'm using the light. Hold on, let me finish, bro. Let me finish, man. I'm talking about. Hold on, man. Fuck. I'm talking about little sticks in the ground using the light to make the shadow. Using the light, not the big giant stick on a globe. Okay, that's not representing reality. I know. Nice try. But you're using a giant stick now.
No.
Here's my point.
What you showed was time and date. And
Here's
on
my
time
point.
and date.
Can I make
on
my
time
point?
and date. The diagram you showed on time and date is not the shadows from 5 feet sticks or whatever. That is also
They
hugely out of
represent
proportion.
shadows on the ground. They represent a 1 meter stick, basically, on the ground. Listen, let me make my point. My point is.
That's not what they're
Can I make my
drawing.
fucking
Hold on.
point,
All right,
please?
let's see Brian's point. Yeah, Brian, go ahead.
Okay, my point is if you're looking at star trails or sun calc, okay, we can measure that the stars that deviate off to the north are not parallel with the equator. The stars that deviate off to the south are not parallel with the equator. And the stars that are deviating away from each other, north and south, are absolutely opposite of parallel with each other. Okay?
You're conflating a lot of
talking about the
things.
sun casting being
Well, let nerd answer that.
Yeah, he's conflating a lot of things. So if we are talking about parallel lines, for instance, we need to talk about whether these rods are parallel in 3D or whether the shadow is parallel on the sphere. That's a very different thing. For instance.
Yeah. You could use a big stick to cast a curved shadow on a sphere. I'm talking about moving the light source in a straight line.
And when
or
you
I'm
say
talking
the
about moving
stars
the
diverge,
sphere itself. You can move the sphere or the light source, but use a regular sized stick and see what you get.
Now I need 10 seconds to do a big shout out and a big thank you to Nestle Wipes, who sent me a big $20 on PayPal. Thank you, Nestle Wipes. Good to see you, brother, and appreciate you checking up on me. Good to see you back, man. Even though the stream is a shit show today, Fleur's been hungry while you were away. Shout out to you, man. Good to see you, and appreciate your support very much. I did a poll earlier. I want to read the results. I did a poll. Brian's model is, I mean, it is what it is. I just created this poll. I pulled it off my ass, and the headline is Brian's model is, and there are 4 options, which the less amount of votes was Mercator. That's not Brian's model. With 15% of the votes, Brian models is a globe. 15% of the people say Brian. Brian's model is other with a 25%, but a big whopping 57% of the votes. The majority say that your model is a straw man, Brian. Thank you very much, everybody, for participating earlier. Give me feedback and type boom in the chat, or give me a thumbs up, or let me know how does the layout looks for at least today. Maybe keep it like that for a few days. If it doesn't look too busy or too distracting, I will let it run like this for a few days. Thank you very much. Hey, carry on, guys.
Yeah, I think we're bringing a little too much heat. There's a proper amount of heat to bring, man. I think we exceeded that, so I apologize, man. But that shows, man, we're into this shit, man. We're arguing our point, man. It keeps it interesting. If nothing less, it definitely keeps it interesting, man. But I'm trying to avoid a shit show, so I apologize.
I don't appreciate being called a liar, though.
Stingray, I'd like to point out that those sticks were absolutely 100% in a straight line, and when the light, the parallel light, was cast onto a spherical object, it did curve those parallel lines.
Stingray,
the shadow.
I don't remember calling you a liar, man. If I did, I apologize. But I did throw in a little side, a curveball, call you a slickster.
No, so what you did, Brian, is I made two statements. There is one light source, and the only thing it is doing is casting parallel shadows. That's it. In this scene, real time, not me drawing them, not me creating them, me having a light source millions of miles away, casting light in one singular direction only, and casting shadows from that, match sun calc exactly when wrapped onto a sphere. And I even showed you when I put a plane under the sticks that they are parallel shadows.
No, they're not parallel. Bro, they weren't parallel. What are you talking about? You agreed. You agreed that latitude lines are parallel, and them matched longitude lines, Stingray. They did not match parallel latitude lines. So you know, what I request is use smaller sticks. Use small sticks and use a reality size setup.
Brian, do you think wait a minute, Brian, do you think I'm lying when I say the only singular light source in that scene is directional? In other words, it can only be in one direction. It is not even.
No, I don't think you're lying. I think there's a trick that you don't even realize you're pulling. You're using giant sticks. Okay, my point is this. If you want to use a stick that stretches all the way across the earth, that's fine. But if the shadow is being caused by a sun with the earth rotating, the earth rotates in one direction, and we're seeing shadows deviate due to the angle of that light source, okay? It doesn't matter if it's on the ground. We can represent it on a flat surface just like it represents it in SunCal.
This argument is stupid because if he made those sticks the size of a 3-foot stick on Earth, we wouldn't be able to see the representation of the shadow. He made those sticks large enough so we could see that a parallel line, when cast onto a curved surface, will curve.
Yeah.
So very important question. Then. Very important question, Stingray. Real quick, this is the question for you. Do the shadows converge and diverge, or are they parallel? That's what I need you to answer.
They are parallel.
So they don't. I wasn't asking you, Leo.
When they are cast onto a sphere, they diverge from being parallel because they're cast onto a sphere.
Okay, so according to Leo, the shadows do not converge and diverge. They are parallel. Stingray, are the shadows?
That's not what I said.
Let me just answer this. He's asking me, Lyle. Just give me 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So there is, again, this is truth. You disagree with me saying this is truth. You are calling me a liar, and you have not any respect from me at that point. There is a singular light source in that. Let me finish.
Hey, man, quit punching below the fucking belt, bro. Right now, man.
No.
If you want to keep this conversation, quit punching below the belt and putting words in my mouth.
What are you done?
We're having a friendly conversation, friendly back and forth. Let's try not to interrupt him.
So,
I'd like to get in.
do not call me a liar again by saying what I'm saying is untrue, because that's just the same thing. Now, there is a
what are you saying and what I'm saying? Are you saying are you calling me a liar just because you don't agree with what I'm saying, Stingray? Or are you punching below the belt, Al?
Stupid.
No, that's...
So, there is a singular light source, or was a singular light source in that scene. It cast shadows in a singular direction. One singular direction for every single thing that is casting shadows in that scene. Now, on a flat plane, we look at those shadows and they are all in the same direction. Now, when we wrap them, like Lael said, and intersect them with a sphere, they conform to the surface.
So the shadows are not parallel then, right? So the shadows are not parallel. Which is it? Please, for God's sake, give me an answer. Are the shadows parallel or are they converging and diverging?
Wait,
at the same time.
Let me just answer this.
Let me get in here real quick.
Volume of the shadow is parallel. Its intersection with the ground is important because the ground isn't fucking flat.
If the, and if the
That
poles are
does not
really
answer my
close to
question.
each other.
Are the shadows converging and diverging, or are they parallel? It's a fair, simple question.
Shadows,
Though.
I was very clear in what I said. The shadows are, in fact, parallel. But when cast, those parallel shadows are cast onto a sphere, they diverge.
Wait, do they diverge or are they parallel, Lale?
They
You
are
can't have
parallel.
converging and
When they are
diverging
cast onto
shadows.
a sphere, they diverge.
Leo, let me say something really quick. I know my mic is probably terrible, but the reason why Brian is saying this is because the poles that are casting the shadows on that sphere are really far apart. So that's why they converge and diverge, right? But if you put them really close together, the shadows are going to look parallel, and there's not much curvature between those two poles.
I agree with what B-Ball just said. If you have those sticks, let's say 3 feet apart, those lines are going to look completely parallel. But if you place them far enough apart, like Stingray did, those parallel lines, when cast onto a sphere, will diverge from each other.
My point is
But they are
this: is
still
if
parallel.
I'm looking off at the horizon, then I'm seeing the stars over half of the ball. Okay, and over the span of half of the ball, they actually
Thanks for
converge
changing the
towards each
subject.
other. Oh, dude.
Did you agree with what I said, Brian?
Yeah, well, I'm explaining. Okay, over the span of half of a no, I don't think that I understood his point, but he won't say whether they're converging or they're parallel. He won't.
I did say
I can't.
when they is
Not you,
parallel.
Lale. Not you,
When
Lale.
they're close together.
Not you, Lale. You've already stated both, Lale. You've stated both, Lale. You've stated that they're converging and diverging, and that they're parallel, Lale. I'm not talking to you. I mean, you already answered. I mean,
Parallel lines are cast onto a sphere, and they're far enough apart.
Let me just answer him, Lyle. So, Brian, the answer that you're looking for is the light is parallel. The shadows on the surface of a sphere are not.
Only if they're really, really close together, but even still, it'll be a little bit.
Jomongus have had an overdose of Lale.
So this is what my point I'm trying to make. Sorry, I don't know if I interrupted, but so I'm looking over half of a sphere. Okay, I'm in the middle of and if the sun was overhead, it'd be noon, but the sun off in the distance. Okay, so it's spanning half a sphere, and it's showing the shadows over half of a span of a sphere converge and then diverge. Okay, so if it's me moving in one direction, okay, how could it converge and diverge? And then I ask, if it's doing that, and how could they at the same time be parallel? If I'm only moving in one direction, then everything about that says they are not parallel. They are, and your model, you know, like I said, what Earth as life showed earlier, what Eggshell showed, are parallel shadows, man. But SunCalc doesn't show parallel shadows. Shows not just diverging, but converging and diverging. Sorry.
The sticks aren't parallel. Why would the shadows be parallel?
Parallel, Lale for you. Para means for or two. Para mí, for me. Parallel for Lale. Parallel.
Paralegic? Paraplegic, I should say.
No, there's none of those here.
Oh, yeah, you're right. FTFE is not here.
And one more time, I was not calling you a liar, to clear the air. If I did call you a liar, I apologize, but I was not. My intention was to disagree. My intention was to disagree, not to call you a liar. I wanted to present my case, man.
Brian, you are telling an untruth. What is that doing?
So now you're calling me a liar. See,
yeah,
we can disagree. We can disagree without throwing low blows. We got to at least be able to do that, man.
Just like you called Stingray, you said what you're saying, Stingray, is untruth. You called.
No, I didn't. I said
he said it is a lie.
I said he's being slick, and I don't even think he's doing it intentionally. That's exactly not lying. I said he's using giant sticks, okay, that are doing one or the other. I want to see a shadow converge and diverge. I want to see it do both, and I don't want to see a giant stick do it. But I want to see it converge and diverge. You know, that was the
put a
regular size
stick that was 2 inches tall on that, or even 5 feet tall on that globe, we would not be able to see the angle, the shadow.
The only way, here's the reality, bro. The reality is the only way it works in reality is with a close light source on a ball. Okay,
No,
grab a sphere,
just
and put toothpicks on it. The only way you can get converging and diverging shadows is with a local light source. Okay, you'll get one. You can get one or the other, but you can't get both converging and diverging with
Stingray showed it.
distant light source. No,
I
he
never
showed
said
diverging.
diverging and converging. I never said there was 2. I said there was 1.
All right, guys, play nice, everybody. I'm gonna come back, but I gotta warm something up for 2 minutes in the microwave, and I'll be back. I'll be eating something muted. I don't like eating the mic, but I'll be listening, so don't go crazy. I'm still here. And news for that, I know I lost a lot of people when we got some news that Johnny Depp won the case. For those who follow the Johnny Depp case thing, I know a lot of people went over there to check it out. I don't care. I'm still here. I'm gonna just eat a snack so I can push a little further. I was about to shut it down. I said, like, no, I got some food in the microwave, so I'll be back shortly. I'm here. Boom. The floor is all yours, guys.
Sorry.
Free for all. It's a free for all. No, I'm just kidding.
Brian, may I ask you a question? Instead of just saying,
really quick?
I'll answer to the best of my ability.
Wait, Stingray, before you go there, Stingray, if you were to bring up that model again and represent a stick the size it really is on Earth, do you think we would be able to see the shadow of that stick?
Well, the reason why I made the sticks huge is to show that if you were an observer looking at those sticks at those different locations, as in other times of the day, just like time and day, that you see divergence, because the one on the far left that was off the coast of South America was a completely different direction than the one off the coast of Africa, because we're on a sphere. But it is parallel light, and I showed that with the plane.
I completely agree with you, but if you were to represent the sticks to scale, would we be able to see the shadow? Or would it be so small that we couldn't even see the shadow?
Well, obviously too small, but the size of the stick does not change the direction of the shadow, not with parallel light.
I agree. I concur with that. I was just making a point to Brian.
Now, would you like to see it in real life instead of on a model? Would you like to see me hold 3 big sticks up? Anybody can do that.
He can model any day.
Yeah, but you don't have to model it, Will.
And I could go outside and measure the angle, and it would match his model.
Brian, here's an interesting
thing. If I hold up 3 sticks over a globe, that's not what happens, bro. I'm just telling you, I don't know what his model's showing. I'll look into it later and try and understand it. But in reality, I got a globe right here. If anybody wants to see it in reality, that's not what we see in reality.
Right, so Brian, the other statement that I'll make, and I'd love for anybody to prove me different, and what we can do live demonstrations of it, is my globe model, as well as time and day, as well as stellarium, absolutely everything that uses a globe matches reality exactly. Now, the interesting thing that I think you should do, if you're up for it, is using a close and local light source, create a flat plane, like a piece of cardboard. Draw a circle on it. You don't even need to put the continents. Choose one place on that piece of cardboard where you can stand a stick. And when rotating around a circle, and you can change where the circle is in relation to the stick, you show me the shadows of that stick matching our reality with an orbiting sun like that, you will never, ever, ever, ever get it, except with the exception of the North Pole.
Calc. It shows reality. It's a flat surface.
Actually, no, you won't, because of the degree tilt, the axial tilt. It wouldn't even work on that.
Brian, may I ask you a question? Instead of just saying why you don't like Stingray's presentation, could you point out how constructively he could make it better so that you will accept it?
Yeah, hold on. I'll try and share my screen real quick. If I can show this globe, I got a globe right here. Okay, and I got a straight line, a skinny, big line, and it's just not what we see. Okay, I understand that his program's showing that, but I got a light in a fucking globe right here, and you can't replicate that, man. I'm sorry.
Just really
I'm
quickly,
sorry.
in photography, you have gates on a light. The gates are meant to make the light more directional, because having an omnidirectional light source, that if you've got a globe that's like, let's say, a foot in diameter, you'd have to literally stand half a mile away with something the size of a house, if not bigger. No, there's something the size of an office block to represent our model. The one way you could do it is to try and create parallel light, and you would need a gated light for that. Which is just like, if you imagine if you scaled up a cheese grater, and the cheese grater had really big fins in it that all went one way, and you put that over the light, that creates a more parallel light. Not perfectly, but more parallel.
It doesn't. I mean, yeah, it helps to be further away. But what I'm telling you is, wherever you have the light shining on that stick, the shadow is exactly opposite of that light. Okay, so they don't diverge and converge on the globe. They don't, and that's
the easy
even with a close light source. Now, if I get in real close with the light, I can show divergence and convergence. But from even 10 feet away with a spotlight, that doesn't work.
So the easier way to prove the point, Brian, to absolutely prove the point, is what you have to do is, if you put on your globe, we can't see it because you're not sharing, but if you put on your globe and then just tie strings to it, and strings that all go in parallel in one direction, and that's the light source and that's the shadow, and then you could try and visualize how that would fall on a sphere, match timeanddate.com and match my model perfectly and match reality, and it just works.
Is this Brian's problem, visualizing in 3 dimensions again?
Yes. So what I would like to ask is, why do you accept time and date, which is a model, but you don't accept what Stingray is showing, which is a model? Why do you say we should look at reality, but you still accept time and date? Brian?
Brian, you're on mute, bud. Brian, your mic's muted.
Yeah, I'm having trouble getting the right angle here, man. To show, I can show myself, but to show you guys and hold it up, man. The camera, my hand's actually in the way of the camera. But
don't hold it up.
I just recommend everybody try this at home with your globe. And if you don't have a globe, then what the fuck are you doing in this discussion, man? Go get a globe there at Walmart and try some of this stuff, man.
All you have to do, Brian, is use the sun outside as the light source, and it'll work fine.
Brian,
well, I'm not arguing with reality, man. I'm not arguing with sun calc, and I'm not arguing with reality. I'm arguing with
Brian, I've used the globe from Walmart, and I literally got the shadows. Matter of fact, here, go to sun calc right now, right, and put that crosshair over Hawaii, and then I'll take a picture of a shadow here. And tell me that it doesn't match.
Yeah. Okay.
Make sure you click.
You got to do it. You got to do it with the sun over Capricorn, over Cancer.
Do it right now. No,
I agree with that, bro. Wait, you're saying I disagree with sun calc? Sun calc, I 100% agree with. That's reality, and it is on a flat surface. That's not my argument, but it is on a flat surface. I think if they could show sun calc on a globe, they would do it.
Sun calc is a model, just like what Stingray showed. It's not reality. Reality is real observations.
Because
I'm saying it matches reality. It matches reality. In other words, the angle
Yeah,
of
so
the
the Stingray's model. Thank you.
It's because
Point. Stingray's model matched reality too.
Because sun calc is using a Mercator projection, he thinks that I don't know.
No,
you think the Earth?
that's not my claim, man. I mean, I pointed that out, but I don't think it proves that it's flat. I don't think it proves it's flat. I don't think it proves one way or another. All I'm saying is that we can measure these angles of the shadows to reality, and they'll match, even though it's on a flat surface. I don't think it proves a flat Earth, but just because he showed it on a globe, I don't think it proves a globe. I think it proves reality.
No, I don't think that the people that created sun calc based it on a flat surface. I don't think so.
So you think we could you think we could do sun calc? You think we could make you think they could do it on a sphere? Then maybe they can. But why don't they?
That's exactly what it's
cannot.
based on. Just because they're using a Mercator projection doesn't mean it's actually working on a flat surface Mercator projection.
It is a
They
flat
cannot
surface.
do it in.
You gotta agree. You
They
gotta at
cannot
least agree
show
with that,
3D.
right?
You cannot show 3D in 2D. You always have a projection. What Stingray is showing is also a projection, but it's the perspective projection, and he can change the point of view. What
So is that
time and
final
date
answer,
is
Mary?
using is different.
So your final answer is its perspective is why the
Why
light
did you
why the light
interrupt me? I was
sources
not done with
diverge
my
away
point.
from each other. So the
My
light
point
sources
is you
diverge.
always
I'm
have
asking a question, bro. I'm just trying to get your
Yeah,
final
you're
answer.
interrupting me for no reason. Let me
No,
finish my
dude,
point.
what
My
are you
point
talking
was
about, man? I'm
my
just asking, is
point
that your
was
final answer?
you
That's simple.
always have a projection because your screen is flat and you cannot show all the 3D detail there. You always have to project it.
I'm not going to go that far, man. I'll retract that then. I don't
Yeah,
think that proves.
okay.
I don't think that proves it flat. I think that shows that it, somehow or another it could work. But maybe
No,
okay,
definitely.
I'll retract it proves flat. I'll retract that.
Definitely, if you show it on a flat screen, it doesn't mean what you're showing is flat.
Okay, but we could show a three-dimensional globe on a flat screen to represent a three-dimensional globe, right?
You have to also use a projection. What Blender is using, what Stingray showed is a perspective projection. That's just one different projection, and it's
But why does it look so
a very
unnatural,
useful
man?
projection because it matches approximately what we see with our eyes.
Would you agree that it's very, very unnatural looking?
No.
Oh,
Do you mean time and
fuck,
date
dude.
or what?
Oh, yeah, it makes me, dude. Stellarium makes me dizzy sometimes looking at it, and
Right.
sometimes Stingray's little diagrams. But what's your final answer on why the
So
why
see-
we can
see if
measure?
make it easy, okay.
Why can we? Dude, every time I go to ask this question, you fucking just. I want to make this clear so I'll know how to address this in the future. So your final answer on why do we measure the luminaries near the equator? Why do we measure their shadows diverging? What is your final answer?
My final answer is that we have a model which matches this exactly, and Stingray showed it, and he just deny it all the time.
No answer. No answer is how. Just
No,
we have a
that's-
model.
It's because the sticks aren't parallel, and because the Earth is curved, and because when we model it that way, we get exactly the result we observe in reality.
Yeah, I agree. The sticks aren't parallel, but the shadows should be. You know, you should get one, and
why?
you should get one at an angle. You should.
The light is
I think we should
parallel.
get.
You
Let me
can
say what I
conflate
think
all
we
these
should get.
things.
Let me say
The
what I
light
think we
is
should
parallel.
get. If the light's coming in parallel, okay, and a shadow, look, let me just say what I think we should get on a globe. Okay, if we're on the equator and a light is sticking up like a lowercase L, I think we should get a shadow that goes straight behind it. Okay, now with a far spin with a stick that's angled over a little bit, I think we should get exactly that angle behind the stick. Okay, so I think it should match exactly what's on the other side of it. It shouldn't curve.
What do you think?
What
you think we should get? What you think you should get is not for you to tell us because.
Well,
it's
what
our
I get in
model,
reality. Let me
and we
say it
have
like that.
And we have it down to a T.
No, you
And
don't.
Stingray showed
We
it,
wouldn't
and
be having
Stingray
this
showed
debate.
it. No, you don't get to tell us what our model says.
No, you
period,
don't have it
because
down
we
to a
don't
T
understand it.
because you can't even give me an explanation of what's causing it except our model's causing it. No, what's
I
causing the
gave you.
divergence, bro?
I gave you. You're
Parallel light
lying.
rays do not cause diverging shadows. I hate to break it to you, but I've got to go back to
No,
square one.
no. You're
Parallel
misrepresenting. You're
shadows.
straw manning my point. I said the light
so a
is
question
parallel,
is a
but the
straw man.
sticks are not parallel. Hence, the shadows are not parallel.
Okay, so the divergence is caused from parallel light but angling sticks. Is that your answer?
Yeah.
On a globe. I know what everything you're saying is on a globe. That goes without saying. So parallel light, angling stick. That causes diverging shadows.
Yeah, just as you saw.
Okay,
on
so
screen.
when the shadow first appears, okay, that would mean that would pretty much have it diverging as it approaches. If what you say is true, if it's the angle of the sticks, they're diverging away from each other. But as the sun approaches, the shadows converge. So that's out the door, bro. You could say whatever,
Why?
but that's exactly opposite of what's
That's not what I
real
said.
and observable.
That's not what I said, but just to clarify, what you mean is that for at the same time, if you have, if you look at the shadows from different points, then at one time they diverge, but then as the Earth rotates in our model, then they start converging.
Yeah. Yeah, so you'd
No.
have to be moving. You'd have to be moving the sticks the whole time. If it's just the angle of the sticks, you'd have to move them one way and then move them the other.
But
So
the angles change, of course.
At least rethink
Of course
that
the
answer.
angles change. Sorry, I didn't understand the last part.
I was saying at least rethink that answer, because if that's the case, you'd have to change the angle of the sticks on the approach and the descent, or the what do you call it? A reverse approach, a deproach.
The azimuth change, of course, of the shadows all the time. Unless the sun is, let's say, over the equator and you just look at the stick on the equator.
Brian, sorry, Jose, just one really quick thing. Brian, I think what would be really good, since you've got a globe model, is if you could stick some little toothpicks on there in your location and in someone else's location if you want, or on lines of latitude, it doesn't matter. But I would recommend your location. Now, the globe will have a 23-degree axial tilt. All you need to do is find out what the relationship is to the month and date we are in right now, so that you can orientate the globe on the ground, flat and level, on great flat and level ground. And then what you can do is you can rotate that physical sphere using the sun as the actual source. You'll need to tilt it to your latitude, but I think you're Florida, aren't you? So you won't have to tilt it that much. And you will see that it matches reality, and all you're doing through the day, and all you're doing is rotating the sphere, and it just works. You'll be able to do that so easy.
That works great, Stingray. I agree. You know what? You should have told me that to begin with, except I showed that it works at one place at one time. It doesn't show why they are moving. If the stars are all moving simultaneously, so if they were bright enough to cast shadows, it'd be casting them in every direction all at once, bro. So that explains the one motion, yeah, but not the opposite motions, bro, at the same damn time.
Just so you know, light the light from stars can cast shadows. It would just depend on your exposure time.
Well, I commend you, dude, for at least getting far enough in this argument, whether whoever's right or wrong. I commend you for at least understanding what I meant by mimicking the sun with the stars, like turning up the volume of the stars. Because with a lot of people, I can't even get past the logic of making that connection, you know. So that makes a very difficult argument when you can't even get past the fact that the stars represent everywhere in the ecliptic all at once, you know. So appreciate making a hell of an interesting argument and worth looking into, man. But I think y'all should open up y'all's minds and try and understand my point at the same time, man. And we'd get a little less heated next time, man. It always gets like that, man. But that shows the passion, in my opinion, man. As long as at the end of the day, man, we respect each other. I respect all y'all, man.
Thank you.
But yeah, I definitely recommend anybody that's in question about this, get an actual globe. Use the sun as your light source, because you ain't going to get a source of parallel light from any kind of local source. And just put some sticks on a globe. Make sure it's orientated the correct way of the month that you're in. Test it yourself. You'll be able to predict exactly the direction of the shadow based on the rotation of the globe.
The sun is local, bro. You missed my
Hold
point.
on, Brian.
The sun is local.
Hold on. I think Chris Berry wanted to do that test, that experiment. Chris Berry, you're listening on YouTube. You gotta do some more experiments for us. Like do this with a globe and the light source, and just bring us some good stuff to watch.
Oh, yeah,
We're
Chris
trying
would
to
have
prove
to do
whether
that.
the sun is local or 93 million miles away, and he says just use the sun and that'll prove 93 million miles. No, I'm saying that the sun proves local. You're missing my argument. I'm not saying that I'm 100% right. I'm telling you what my argument is. So don't just use the sun. because that's my whole debate. If you prove it with the
Well,
sun,
man,
I'm going to
that-
see you through the local light source.
So very importantly, Brian, you need to know when you're creating a straw man. I never said it proved the distance of the sun. I said you need, in order to replicate our model, our sun casts parallel light. The only way you will do that is by using a light source that is scaled to the distance and is also the size of the sun. The issue with that, like I told you, is if you're using your globe there, you're going to have to find a city block like 5 miles away.
No, you
to
don't.
actually
A
use it.
laser beam. You could. I did
No.
this before. Show number for number. I set up a laser beam from like a quarter mile away, and I had enough divergence to cover the whole Earth and the Moon. I tried to use 2 of them to represent the width of the sun, but one of them went out. But you don't have to go a quarter mile. You can go a few hundred feet, man, and for all intents and purposes, get the effect you're looking for. But my point is I'm arguing that the sun, that out in reality, has divergent rays spreading about 69 miles per degree. Your argument is that the ground's curving 69 miles per degree. I think they're going to map out pretty similar. I think there's going to be some necessary effects like refraction and shit to help my model. I think there's going to be some shit needed to help your model, but I don't think reality proves either model. I think, you know, in my opinion, it's just it's, you know, begging the question.
So
for either of us to do that.
in casting shadows and stuff, and the motion of the sun, and how it's predicted, how the Terminator line's predicted, how the seasons are predicted, all that kind of stuff matches a globe perfectly. You don't need refraction. Not one aspect of that matches anything flat and never has. The problem, Brian, is when
That's funny. That's funny that sun calc's flat and it shows reality perfectly. Don't
No.
it?
Sun calc is not flat. Sun calc is a projection. Now, the issue with the projection and the way that you can work this out is when you look at the sun on sun calc or anything that visualizes the sun on a projection, figure out how the hell it's casting a shadow like that on the ground, because what that is that's half a sphere being lit. There is no other way to do that shit.
I need just a second.
Oh, it's gonna rain. It's gonna be heavy rain, I think, today. Have you had those sporadic rains on and off over there, Brian, in the last few days? It's been crazy over here. Chris Barry, what's up, man?
Hello.
Hey, what do you think? What do you think? Now that the trial is over, what will Ranty do now? You're keeping an eye on that, right?
Yeah, it's a good question because I would just want to know what the next script is going to be.
There'll be an appeal, won't there? And then that'll all be televised
great.
and all that kind of crap.
Yeah, and then he'll get another 8 million views on a video that he didn't make. He definitely smartened up though, right? Like there's more money on the globe side. There's none on the flat Earth side, more on the globe. But he really found like a niche where you can just copy a video, put it on your YouTube, and get like 10 million views.
I mean, he could have
Pretty cool.
he could have still been a flat earther and did this trial. What are you talking about?
No, right. I'm saying where's the money at, right? Like or where the subs at. It's not in globe or flat Earth really. It's more in globe than flat. Flat there's none. But it's outside of both of those. It's something like that. It's like
I don't think money is the motivation.
Spectacle.
Money's not my
He's
motivation.
doing it for his health.
Money's not my motivation.
You think he's doing it for fun and his health, right?
I mean, shit, if you can make money doing it, why not?
Right. Oh, or if you can, right.
I think the
After I
prob-
think he got thousands of pounds from his GoFundMe.
I think the problem is that unfortunately in today's society, people can make money off topics like two privileged millionaires suing each other because they're celebrities, and that just doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I mean, they still have rights, right? Johnny Depp, just because he's a millionaire, he still has rights. He still has his name and likability to look out for. He lost probably $100 million worth of revenue in not being able to do the next series of pirate movies or whatever they're called. So I don't fault him for that. But yeah, it's just another Hollywood media spectacle. There'll be another one, like you said, there'll be an appeal, or it'll be the next couple. People like Randy can link John
Hold that thought, Stingray. Hold that thought. Comment by RT96 via $5 super chat. Thank you, RT. Ranty, you should cover. Ranty should cover the Chris Berry versus PBS trial next, with the tens of millions. With the tens of millions, Chris will win. He could take dozens of flat earthers to space with them.
That won't be very exciting because that would be an easy case to win because PBS clearly committed fraud, right? They're a public broadcasting system or whatever they stand for. They take public funds. They still do. I know it's not 100%, but they take public funds. They put out a fake Globe Earth docuseries. They use CGI and compository imagery to commit fraud. So it wouldn't be that hard. Anybody could do it. I'm actually surprised someone hasn't tried or hasn't done it yet.
What's the fraud?
What
I didn't follow that one.
Lying to people who fund their services.
So you think it's a fraud because you think the Earth is not a globe? Okay, got it.
No, you must not have seen one of the many videos that people have put out showing how they've committed fraud.
How they commit fraud?
Explain it to me.
So I just did. I mean, were you listening to what I said?
Well, I heard words come out of your mouth.
You didn't explain why it's a fraud. You said it's CGI, but that doesn't mean anything. You can show a CGI animation to illustrate a concept.
Let's look up the definition of fraud. Wrongful or criminal
I know what fraud is. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Why is this?
Excuse me. Are you from Germany?
Yeah.
All right, don't interrupt me. It says fraud, wrongful or criminal deception intended to result in financial or personal gain. Well, they put out a docuseries that you have to pay for.
Mm-hmm.
That's financial gain, and they committed fraud because they put in deception.
What's the deception?
So the deception is they show CGI, but they don't make it clear it's CGI or what?
Well, that's part of it. Yeah, they don't say it's CGI. They put in a CGI helicopter. They use the same scene in two different scenes, the same background, and they put in the helicopter going down, and then the next scene it goes up, but it's the same. It's the same foreground scene. The helicopter's in the background, so it's the same foreground scene used twice, but the helicopter goes in different directions. It's obviously blatantly clear as day that they did that.
Helicopter.
Is that true? I can't confirm it right now.
So wait a minute, Chris. They were fraudulent over the direction of the helicopter.
The Stingray is from UK. I'm from Puerto Rico. Can we interrupt? Just the Germans cannot, right?
No, it was a non sequitur question. It was just like, are you from Germany? Oh, and by the way, don't interrupt. That was all it was.
Chris, so the fraud is the helicopter's going in the wrong direction.
No, the fraud is they composited the helicopter into this shot.
Okay, and that you don't like helicopters being composited into shots like dinosaurs walking on the documentary either, or things like that.
Well, when you say that this is a real video in real time and that it's not been composited, then yeah, I don't like that.
Oh, did they specifically say that, and then you've got proof that it's a composited helicopter?
Yes.
Oh yeah, well,
I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah, if that's the case, go for it.
Stingray, have you not seen that video?
No, I have not. I honestly haven't. If you got
I'm not a lawyer, but I'm not sure that constitutes fraud.
Yeah,
because
if you got a link, Chris, put it in the chat.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it.
Just because it's fake doesn't mean it's
YouTube anymore. Did they
fraud.
take it off of YouTube? It used to be on YouTube.
YouTube what?
The PBS. Oh, here it is. Called Genius by Stephen Hawking.
Oh yeah, I ain't gonna play that. I get copyright strike like a motherfucker.
No, you don't have to play it.
Yeah. You
Oh
can
wait,
share
no,
it
this
around.
is just a clip.
You can
There's
share it
different
if you want.
clips, but let me find it.
So let me tell. Earth Life left. I just wanted to tell him that it was the hard drive on my computer, on my PC, is the one that burned somehow. It just stopped working. An old man that I met over here, he worked in computers. He took it and he called me. He said, like, yeah, the hard drive is burned, but it's the modern ones. He knows how to work in all computers, right? In all the computers. So he doesn't know how to build gaming computer. He said, your computer is good. It's just that the hard drive, I don't have anything to replace. I get a bunch of the older hard drives, So you want me to put one of those? I said, yeah, whatever you can do. If you can get it working, it's all right. So he brought it to me. He said, I got you 1 terabyte little HD drive on the old ones. So it takes a minute to load now the computer. When it was seconds, within 10 seconds, it was up and ready before. So it takes an extra minute. So I can feel it a little slower, but it's great. It works perfectly fine. So I'm grateful for having my PC back. It's good. For free, he just hooked me up. He said, I got a bunch of hard drives in there. He just like fixing computers and switching around and just playing with them. It's good.
Good news. So what I wanted to say is, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not even a bad one. Don't hire me if you get sued by Johnny Depp. But I don't think that's necessarily fraud, because I think if for fraud you would need the financial gain to be causally related to the deception. So but PBS, they just collect the fees no matter what they show on screen. So I think that's actually, in my humble opinion, a possible defense against a criminal fraud case, let's say.
That didn't make any sense to me.
Of course not.
Oh, so whatever you said, you basically said they can do whatever they want. They can lie about whatever they want.
No. I mean, it's not the specific crime of fraud. Of course, you can morally oppose it, or you should. If your claims are correct, then people should make us think about it, let's say. And they should go to the politicians maybe and say, we need to make sure this doesn't happen again. But I'm not sure there's a criminal case to be made. As I said, I'm not a lawyer, so who knows?
Well, it's like, right, Johnny Depp just won $15 million. That was over lies that were told about him. So
it's not, but Chris, it wasn't specifically the lies, it was the damages that came with them.
Yeah, there's like 7 questions and then 3 different topics, so there's 21 questions and they had to be answered by with yes. It's not just a statement false, but as Stingray said, damages, then the causal relationship between the statement and the damages, and so on.
Right, but so a libel case, you have to prove like financial damages, or you can just prove that they hurt your reputation.
In the US, at least.
No, well, it doesn't have to be financial damages. It can be any damages. That could be emotional. It could be physical. It could be monetary.
Right, exactly. So it doesn't have to be monetary.
Yeah, it gets converted to a monetary amount. So let's say I had severe emotional trauma, and that's worth, I don't know, 2 million or whatever.
Can I sue flat earthers for severe emotional trauma because they hurt my brain?
Emotional damage. We're gonna get out of here, guys. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. Most of the people that came in and watched the show hit the thumbs up. I appreciate that. No, not everybody, just a bunch of people. So if you're watching this recorded, leave a like, and if you're watching it live, you haven't done it, leave a like.
Can I get a
Share
last
the show.
comment?
Yeah. We will do my shilling first. Check on the links on the description box how to support. You guys can jump in the Daily Boom. Usually a bunch of people will stay after the show, go offline over here, so you can have the floor and don't burn the place down is the only thing I ask for. Have fun, and we'll do some final thoughts. Chris, if you want to go first, go for it, man.
I was just going to say, if you're interested in the analysis of how they did the, I don't know, call it scam or the lie, I posted in the Daily Boom Uncensored, and then Stingray, I sent you a direct message. It's only a 10-minute video, speed it up to 1.5 or 2x if you want. It's quite clear and blatant about what they did or how they did it, I guess. So check it out.
Thank you, Chris. There's a quote Nobody watches my videos. That was Travis 2018. And nobody watches my videos. Chris Berry 2022. It goes hand by hand. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Chris. That was fun. Brian Leake, final thoughts if you're there.
Yeah, I'm here, man. I want to thank everybody, man. Thank you for the platform. I wanted to point out to everybody, man, try and open up your mind. I know that, but I want to just say this, that if you're standing at the equator, you can, when the sun's over Cancer, you can see it deviate to the north. And even if you're not standing at the equator, you could see the sun deviate north in most places. But if you are standing at the equator, you see it deviate to the north. When it's in between, it'll go straight overhead, and when it's over Capricorn, it'll deviate to the south. It will physically do this, and the stars represent all the motions at one time. And a globe, you can show it in a model, and you could show shadows bending and all that, but there's no explanation for us standing in one position, seeing the sun do multiple different things if it's us rotating that. And also one more thing, I think if you're going to use the shadows, don't use giant shadows if you're on a globe. Use shadows that kind of represent a person on Earth, and don't force the shadow. It's supposed to be the motion of the sun, and you can only use the curvature of the Earth for so much, because it's the motion that's causing the shadow deviation, not the angle of the ground. We're only in one spot, so you can't use the angle of the ground and a giant stick to mimic reality when we're only in one little spot and the ground ain't curving in our local position. So that's not that's a straw man with reality. And everybody think on that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Here is a thought, an alternate universe Chris Berry final thoughts. I got over here. Alternate universe Chris Berry's final thoughts, and I quote: "I could totally win tens of millions of dollars in a lawsuit against PBS, but I'm too busy proving pre-Tesla energy, the jet fuel hoax, Tartaria and the Great Mud Floods, the Catholic Jesuit Freemason cabal, numerology, chemtrails, and more." Thank you, Chris Berry 2.0. Chike, final thoughts. Earth is live. Final thoughts.
Hey, what's up, Jose? It's good to see you back. Yeah, we can sit here all day and argue about refraction, argue about the horizon, we can argue about the sun shadows or whatever, but the one thing we can't argue about is southern hemisphere flights. The distance, the speed, and the time. We know the distance between airports, we know how fast airplanes fly, and we know how long it takes. So whatever model you want to try and claim that matches, I know for one thing, those speeds and those distances all match a globe. So I'm done.
Thank you. Hey, before you go, Earth is live. There are two kinds of hard drives, right? There's the new one, SSD, right? And then you got the old school one. So my PC had the little newer hard drive that was burned. An old guy over here that fixed computers took it, and he installed me a hard drive, an older one, but it works perfect. A 1 terabyte old school hard drive. It takes a little longer, like an extra minute to load, but it works perfect. So I got my PC back, man.
Okay, cool. No problem.
Yeah,
but if you send it to me though.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'll try to send it to you, see if you can extract any videos that I have downloaded, information and stuff. So if we can do that, yeah.
Yeah, don't send it to me yet because I might be leaving soon.
No, yep. Well, I'll contact you, and thank you for hooking a brother out when in need. Always, man. Appreciate it.
No problem.
11 Chimp, you got some final thoughts? How about JMac? Oh, no audio. Let's try with Nerd Alert.
Yeah, great show, Jose. Thank you. Very lively show. Great presentations by the Stingray. and I'm very grateful for that because I could have shown some formulas, but I don't think that would help really. And just what I want to say is there are a lot of projections, so we always go from 3D to 2D in some way. Different programs do it differently. Time and Date has chosen the Mercator projection. These projections, they preserve some properties, they don't preserve other properties. It's easy to make assumptions, but if you want to get it right, it's much harder. You just need to put work into it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nerd Alert, and also thank you, man, personally, like for your support for all this time, hanging out and helping me out when I needed the most, and for it was cool to hear you, man. Having a go today, it was fun, man. Hope you come back and get more of this.
Sure.
Yep. Snestley Wipes, you got some final thoughts? All right, and we got the Stingray.
Oh yeah, good show, Jose. I just want to double down because anybody can take my model, any flat earther, and you know of the physical globe, the sun, and the parallel lightways. Pull it apart. Show me where it's wrong. Because simply rotating the sphere, once you've set the correct month, predicts the path of the sun through the sky and thus shadows perfectly all the time from anywhere. It doesn't matter. It just always works. Your inability to understand it does not invalidate it. If you want to, if you send me a message, I'll give you the damn thing, and you can show us all up live because it'll be quite funny. Besides that, good show, Jose. Good to see you back.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, man. I really do. Always cool to hear your. Hold on. I got microphone. Yeah, I'm good. You guys hear me, right? Here? On Discord?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I forgot the final thoughts by Marcus Dresden, who say, flat earths are dumb as fuck. Thank you very much, everybody. This has been Jose J.G. Gonzalez, out. Boom. Thank you.